Live from New York. It's a show that's not going to do pantomime stuff.
You didn't have to do pantomime, buddy.
The question of the day, Brew, was basically...
Who's been the best team through 4 weeks?
Act ridiculous on command.
Didn't
from
say
Gianna,
that.
who does a great job. And I said I don't want to.
Convey who the best team through 4 weeks is without saying any words. We all had different ways we could have done it. Brew did a fly Eagles fly thing. I pointed at my tattoo. All you had to do was pull up one of your hundreds of Jalen Hurts tweets, and that would have done it.
I didn't want to do that.
You're just not a team player. You skipped our workouting last night.
I mean, come on.
You skipped it.
Skipped it?
He skipped it.
I didn't skip it.
Brew was funneling beers.
I had a previous engagement.
I did too.
What?
I'm not going to that stuff.
Home with the kids.
He's just not a team player. He's just not going.
First thing first. I'm here 8 hours a day.
So 1 extra hour for team building?
We got to do 41 hours? What aren't we getting to?
In fairness to Wiles, the last time we did team building at the bowling alley, it did.
Oh, yeah, it went bad. He lost $100.
You guys were at each other's
throats.
That's
true. That's true.
And Greg and I almost got it.
Yeah,
he didn't want none, though.
Yeah.
He backed down.
Purdy's out. Can the 49ers pull off an upset tonight? Meanwhile, Deion Sanders supports Shedeur's silent interview. Our response? And finally, most motivational segment in all of sports, it's the Bud List. Alongside Nick Wright, I'm Kevin Wildes with some news to report from the producers of the show. Talked to Dusty in the coffee area. He said, hey, I went up to talk to Brew. Brew's up there frazzled.
Did he say frazzled?
I don't know.
Dusty.
He said you were under duress putting the Bud List together. And
I just didn't need him running into my office at 2:39 saying, let's do something new with the Bud List. So I acted frazzled to get him out of there.
Wow.
Apparently it
Wow. Brew's acting skills have come in very handy the last couple of weeks.
First hour, first things
They
first.
were trying to mess with the Bud List, Brew?
He like, Brew, we got a whole new idea. He did put it on Wiles. He's like, Wiles wants you to do something
he always
totally
is
new
messing with the Bud List. I'm
like, you couldn't have come in at noon.
Thesis bars on the Bud List.
What?
So you get Brew's take. We get more
Is
Brew.
nothing sacred?
I was like, you couldn't have told me at noon? He had to come in a few minutes before I got to go get dressed.
We start with
makeup.
A.J. Brown's comeback route. This time via quote. Tweeted a Bible verse after his low productive game that read to some people as a criticism of his diminished offensive role. He addressed that yesterday. Take a listen.
I let my frustrations boil over. I didn't speak to the media. I had a chance to correct my frustrations, and I continue to let it boil over. That's on me. I take full accountability on that, posting that. My message on Twitter wasn't directed at anyone in the building. I don't think it's a bad thing for wanting the ball. It's not just for targets or anything to put numbers up, but no, I see that that we're struggling, and I'm a guy that wants the ball in those times when we can't find a way. Give it to me. Like when the game's on the line, give the ball to me. I want that. I want that pressure. I put it on myself, and I work hard for it.
Okay, again, to the Philadelphia Eagles, which I root for, please buy a tripod. It's the second time I asked. Please, we'll send you one. Brew, your reaction to A.J. Brown's quote. Oh.
Bravo, A.J. Brown. Bravo, A.J. Brown. He owned it. I like the fact that he went there before the cameras and said, my bad. I was wrong. I was frustrated. I shouldn't have done that. I was wrong. I've seen a lot of athletes and even people say, I have no regrets. like they've never done anything wrong, or I learned from it I got regrets. I've done things wrong. I think all of us have some regrets. Admit you did something wrong.
The way you treated Dusty earlier.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see after the show how Dusty, if he took it seriously. But no, I mean, he owned it, and I like that. Now, he may do it again because he's an emotional guy. Sometimes he wears his emotions on his sleeves. But his explanation was legitimate. Like, we are struggling. Mm-hmm. They are struggling. He wants the ball. I have no problem with that. And I understand his frustration even as they're winning. Like, I think we all would agree, is probably a top 5 receiver in the league, or certainly right in that discussion.
Yep.
He is 61st in the league in receptions right now. He is 70th in yards per catch, 66th in yards per game, and he's got 1 touchdown. And all of those outside of the touchdowns are on pace for career lows, maybe even touchdowns is. And he's 28 years old. He's right in the middle of his prime. And he wants to, when you have star ability, you want to be a star. I've said it before. If I'm Donovan Mitchell or Jalen Brunson, I don't want to go somewhere and average 13 points as a role player and win a ring. I want to win a ring, but I want to also play up to my individual potential as a star. Now, if you're not a star, it's different. And AJ's already got a ring. I'm not saying it's all right to be selfish, but I do get where he's frustrated and wants to shine, especially when the offense isn't clicking.
I don't find this selfish. I would if their offense was prolific or if they were blowing people out with a dominant defense, ball control style offense. Then I might understand it and find it selfish.
And say you don't need to say anything.
Right. But not only do I understand this, I don't find it selfish. And I agree with Brew. What I would have hated would if he would have been like, man, that tweet didn't have anything to do with the team. You know what I mean? Just lied, which was and I think the audience has maybe picked up on this from me. I like A.J. Brown. Obviously, he's a great player. I like his earnestness and honesty about who he is. I respect people who, even if who you are is not the, platonic ideal for teammate or whatever, you're like, I am who I am. I'm going to tell you right after the Super Bowl that the Super Bowl glow has already worn off. Like, I respect that part of him. And I think he is important for this Eagles team, not just because he's a great player, but Wilds, because he's right. Mm-hmm. What they are doing right now is not sustainable. So these offensive ranks where they are for this year is not sustainable.
Get back to the Super Bowl.
Correct. That's what I mean. It's not sustainable if they want to have a chance at repeating.
So just to dig into it, for our podcast listeners.
Yes, they're 7th in points and then 29th or 30th or 31st in total yards, passing yards, yards per rush, yards per play. They're dead even in the league, 16th in yards per game.
But oddly, 7th in points because they're so effective in the red zone.
But also
if they're like, hey, a team is 7th in points, are they on the right track? You would say yes. So it's just the outlier
and they would be
of everything
9th,
else.
I think, without the special teams.
Right. So the special teams touchdowns helped them.
Still top 10.
And
still top 10.
The point that you led me right to, I think the point that I was going to make, which is I do not think they will stay 7th in
the
points.
You think are an aberration?
Yeah,
if they don't.
Correct.
Change.
If they don't change those other things. If I truly believed they could play this way and be 30th in a bunch of categories, but 7th in the only category that really matters, points scored, I'd be fine with it. I don't think they're going to bat 1,000 on the red zone this year, even if they're the best red zone team. Like that's not what they're going to be. And the other thing is those 2 of the last 4 halves of offensive football they've played have been the 2 worst passing halves any team has played in the league all year. And so look at the company that they keep on it. So the Eagles had negative 18 passing yards in the second half last week, negative 1 in the first half 2 weeks ago. The Bengals with Jake Browning, the Jets with a backup quarterback, I think, in that game. It was either Tyrod or Fields, but I think that was the backup quarterback game. Doesn't matter. The Titans with a rookie, and the Cardinals with Kyler, but in the game they led, the entire second half, and they were really trying to run the ball. That can't happen. And here is where I will turn it a bit to you. You don't want, you being Kevin Wilds, the Jalen Hurts fan, and Eagles fans who are Jalen Hurts fans, Jalen Hurts to all of a sudden be on the Tim Tebow section of the chart, which is like the guy's I don't care that throws for no yards. The guy's a winner. He's tough. Like those.
No yards.
But but don't you? And maybe you just use that as a description. He's beyond.
Oh
Tim
no.
Way to compare
but I'm
him to
saying
Tim
up to if Jalen Hurts' entire career was this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This year, it's like Tebow-ish in they win.
I mean, Tebow was.
No, but it was
those
about
first three quarters.
But I mean, the yards are about like this.
No,
and again, I don't want to be misconstrued. I'm not comparing the players. What I'm saying is you feel, and Eagles fans feel, I think, that we have a star quarterback. And if you have a star quarterback, this can't happen.
Yeah.
And so
it doesn't
AJ's
make
not
sense
wrong
what
about
they're
that.
doing.
No.
Like, it really, and for Petula I wouldn't think it makes sense if he was coming in fresh, but to have been there for 5, 6 years, whatever it is, and to know these players, that it makes no sense the way they're running their offense to me.
So what do you think happens now with Surtain over there?
Well, that's interesting. I wasn't even thinking about the Surtain element.
Well, it's like, all right, the antidote.
You don't force it to him. You cannot force it to him.
Then you got to creatively force it to him.
No, you play your game. I think I don't think you try to throw the football more, and you play your game. That means some passes are going to go to AJ. You also have Devontae Smith over there, and some are going to go to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think you can go out of your way, especially like you said, if Surtain's on him, and try to force feed him the ball. I think it has to come within.
How much of fixing this is on Jalen? I
think it's more the play calling.
To have zero completions?
Jalen threw some bad balls. Others, he was blanketed, and he still threw it to him. So I just think they're not getting, like you said, those intermediate passes.
We saw him talk to Petula on the sidelines.
2 weeks ago, yep.
Yeah, which felt a little bit like, I don't know, like heat of the moment type stuff, even though it was very a rational conversation. It's probably a better question for coach when you've seen Brady and Belichick sit down and talk about a game plan very constructively. Peyton and Breeze have a whole thing where they're sitting down, nose in the binders. What is the relationship between Jalen Hurts, Sirianni, and Petula? Where is Jalen Hurts executing Petula's system, or is Petula building a system that works for Jalen?
No, but I guess that's not really my question. Maybe I phrased it wrong. My point is this: do we think there is a game plan that could exist where if any of our other star quarterbacks in the league were dropped on the Eagles the last 2 weeks, they had negative passing yard halves? Or would those players be like, no? I'm finding a way to get my playmakers involved and get the ball in their hands. The zero completions, the negative, that's what I'm asking.
I get it now.
And I think Jalen has enough cachet I'm not saying go rogue, but if it is all, the OC's just in over his skis.
Yeah, I'm switching the play and getting AJ the Browns.
Yes, I mean, I am doing.
But not just to get AJ the ball.
No, to get Devon. That's what I'm saying. Even if it's not AJ Brown, we can't have 0 yards at the half. Can't be an improvement. And that's where we've been 2 of the last 4 halves. That, and so I believe that Jalen has the ability to do that. So I just find it. I find this very odd, and I don't blame A.J. Brown for sounding the alarm.
No, I'm fine with it.
All right, Coach Prime, son mimes. Deion Sanders responded to the silent interview that Shedeur gave to reporters yesterday. Schefter says it was in response to Rex Ryan's criticism of Shedeur, telling him to be quiet. Deion posting 10 crying, laughing emojis and saying, good one, son, you did that. Brewer, your reaction to Prime's reaction?
Is that just a parent's love? That's the only thing I can see that. Because obviously we all respect Prime as a parent and a father figure to Travis Hunter and some other guys. I also love the way he handles himself. I love that he boldly proclaims his faith in Jesus Christ, all that. But this is a misstep. There is no other way to look at this and think this was good, what Shedeur did. In a vacuum, maybe, we said even yesterday, it could be funny. It was, okay. But the context is important. And the context here is that Shedeur Sanders is fighting for his football life. Whether you think, and I'm a guy that liked Shedeur and felt like he should have gone in the first round. But whether you think Shedeur is getting, blackballed, or whether you think the Browns just don't like him, or whatever you think, the fact is every team in the league passed on him multiple times. And the team he's on, he's third string.
And they just had an opportunity to bump him up to second, and they were like, no, we're not doing that.
And you also, here's the interesting thing, because if I was a reporter covering the Browns, and I'm guessing some of their reporters are, I would be going to players privately. Shedeur, how's he look? Should he be playing? Like, you have not seen any anonymous quotes coming from players like, man, Shedeur looks good. I don't know why he's not playing.
That's interesting.
Like, when your quarterback has thrown 6 interceptions in 4 games, when your defense is legit and you just simply can't win because you have no offense, there's no anonymous quotes like, man, I don't know what they're doing, because Shedeur looks good. I think Shedeur should get a shot. We haven't seen any of that. And we know players like Shedeur. And you still haven't seen it.
That's interesting.
So I'm just saying, as talented as I think he is, he apparently isn't ready.
Clearly.
And so what this does is make the other 31 teams and the Browns think Shedeur is immature or silly.
It was immature.
Yeah.
And it was silly.
It's not getting, it's not going to endear him to anybody. And lastly, I'll say this, Nick. You said yesterday Shedeur's kind of misplayed the last 9 months, the draft process. So has Deion.
Yes.
Like, when Deion came out before the draft and was like, I'm going to, he's only going to certain teams. I'm going to make sure he goes to the right situation. I'm going to get involved with it, like, that obviously turns some teams off. And then supporting this, this is a misstep by Deion and Shedeur.
Yeah, I want to talk Deion, then I want to talk Shedeur. I echo what Bruce said on the front end. I think I have so much respect for Deion Sanders, okay? I also think he is either giving Shedeur bad advice or, in this instance, I know, encouraging what I think is unproductive behavior. And I understand folks like Shedeur's a grown man. Guys, he's 23 years old. He is a grown man. He's almost old enough to rent a car without having to pay an extra fee. However, he's allowed to do what he wants. But Brew, I know your dad passed a couple of years ago. I'm 40 years old. I called my dad for advice Friday. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? My son's 27. He calls me all the time for advice. The idea that once you are old enough to legally drink, that you're like, you get no influence from any of your elders in your community, be it actual father or not, is not reality. And we're all always kind of growing and evolving and leaning on people. So I think Deion can't disassociate that his son is not the prospect that he was.
Yes.
And does not play the position that he did. You know what I mean? Because Deion, as great as he was, if he was a quarterback instead of cornerback, some of that stuff would have hurt him, but because he was so great in a different position. Now I want to talk about Shedeur doing this. Guys, do you realize how absurd it would be if Bo Nix spent part of a press conference getting even with me? Like, that's what happened. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, that guy on TV has been unfair to me, and I'm going to show him. This is not, don't clip this, internet. I'm talking about for Shedeur. Rex Ryan is irrelevant for what Shedeur's trying to do. Like, I'm irrelevant for what Bo Nix is trying to do. It's not a shot at the network or him. It's an absurd use of your time. And what nobody seems to want to acknowledge because of the profile and what we thought the guy was going to be in the draft, is right now the closest comp Shedeur has in sports to like how to maybe best conduct myself given the extra spotlight and my spot on the depth chart is Bronny James.
Yes.
You're a fifth-round pick. You're third string. You are fighting for your sports life. Can you imagine if Bronny was, and Bronny's got his own dad, there in theory to really protect him because he's on the team. Mm-hmm. And I get it. Bronny was one level college player, Shedeur was another. I understand that. But it's both guys with super famous dads who are celebrities that right now outpace their spot in their league, who are fringe roster guys.
Right.
And Bronny has done the exact opposite of all of this. You know what I mean? Now I understand.
Bronny is doing everything as it should be done.
And that isn't, and this is the last point I want to make. That is not like selling out who you are as a person. Like, you know what I mean? That is not like changing. Oh. You know what we all have the way we act at work and the way we act in our day-to-day lives. And usually, often, hopefully, they're very similar, but they're not identical. You can be as true to who you are as you want to be, while also recognizing my jobs at the moment demand certain things.
Yes.
And I just think it makes me, the Deion comment really, I was like, man, I think Shedeur could be in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, because if he did that and the response from the people he looks up to and trusts wasn't, buddy, you're hurting yourself. Instead it was, that was awesome. Then why would he?
My hope is that when Deion spoke with him privately, he did say, look, you can't.
And he's just trying to publicly have his
back. That's my hope. I mean,
okay.
I'm just, and publicly, because obviously you're going to support your kids. If my kids did something publicly that was, I might say if somebody interviewed me, I didn't agree with what they did, but
throw them under the bus.
Yeah, I wouldn't just go off on them, right? You know what I mean? Publicly, I would support them, but be like, I didn't think it was the best look, but
maybe like,
and then privately, I'm talking
emojis.
more. I'm just hoping that was the case. And like you said, it's not selling out to be professional or do what you need to do at work. Unless you have your own football league that you're that's gonna pay you millions of dollars, you need to do what your corporation or your job needs to be done for you to be in that position.
Can I play this one clip? And before we do, I just want to set it up. This is from September 21st. It was Mary Kay Cabot. I think it was Mary Kay. She posted it, and then Dove reposted it. It got millions of views. I don't think we ran it on the show. It was, he was asked about running the scout team. Here is literally a perfect response. Take a listen.
Look, I have 6 games a week, so I'm happy rather than just having 1 game a week, on the weekends. So the scout team receivers, all of us, we all know like every day's game day, and we definitely approach everything in that fashion and everything, because I truly believe the receivers we have on the scout team is really explosive and they're really great. They just need an opportunity. So, I'm very thankful. I have those guys, out there with me whenever I'm out there competing.
It's like literally perfect, bro.
Yes.
About the scout team. No one ever gets asked about the scout team. Literally perfect response. And much like real football being a quarterback, this just felt like a devastating turnover.
Yes.
That this one quote, it's like, I've been perfect the whole game, and this was a back-breaking turnover. So I hope he heads more towards the scout team quote than the silence.
Well, he seems, you said it yesterday, incredibly likable. Like in that quote, I mean, and I think when you look at what happened with the miming or whatever, I think it was a combination of immaturity, youth, and incredible confidence in yourself. Like, I think that's what kind of failed him, because I don't think he meant, he was trying to go at Rex. That's better than if he had just called out Rex Ryan and maybe cussed him out or something. Like, Rex Ryan said, that was at least better than that, but it still wasn't good. But I think just youthful exuberance, he doesn't understand how bad that looked, but that's where your father comes in and says, that wasn't the best thing.
And again, I don't think it looked horrible.
No.
I think the problem is, and this is what is, it might be an unfairness, but it is a reality. When you have this level of spotlight on you and you don't have the ability to show your talents on the field, all you can do is make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because nobody, if we would have done a segment on, hey, what a great quote from Shedeur Sanders, everyone justifiably be like, why is that news?
Yep.
It's news that he is saying the right things.
Yep.
So the only time when you're not playing that your words are going to make news is if you make a mistake. And so I think he took all of that and was like, well, what if I have no words? But doing it in that way was also a mistake. I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying this level of spotlight on a guy that's not playing is even reasonable. But it is reality. And it is your job as an adult to recognize, fair or not, the reality that you're in, I need to have the fewest missteps possible. Yep. And if you don't, to have the people closest to you to help you out and guide you on it. And that's the part of this that makes me sad for him.
Harbaugh on the hot seat. That's next on First Things First and the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM.
Believe it or not, that will not be my oldest man take of the day today.
Yeah, older by the day. Check out the podcast if you get a chance. John, is podcast doing well? Yep. How about our YouTube channel? Yep. That's good. A special episode of Hey, What's Going On coming up Friday.
I can't believe we tried to add Hey, What's Going On to the daily show.
It's more of a digital
Wilds said no, it's going to burn out quickly, and now it's the name of his podcast.
It's my IP.
See, I told you.
Then if we name me a podcast,
What if we tried to do...
He made it the name of his podcast.
What if we tried to do poker hits daily? Play the Fox Super 6 NFL Challenge. You download the app. You enter for a free shot to win your share of $10,000 in cash prizes. Coach Mangini is here with us. Coach, welcome. We are talking about tonight's game, 49ers at Rams. Brock's toe still hurts. Might be serious here, bro. Vic Tafura of The Athletic writing, Purdy isn't healthy enough to be the team's emergency backup in LA, which underscores that his sprained big toe was worse than it seemed coming out of Sunday's loss to the Jags, and that the 49ers are leery of it becoming a recurring issue this season. Is this team on the brink?
Well, look, they're still 3-1, which is it's great that they got out to that tough start. A couple of wins over division teams too, but it looks like he's going to miss a good chunk of the season, I would think. So I do think it's going to be awfully tough for them to make the playoffs. Like, if he's out, their whole receiving core. Now they still have some names. You got MVS.
Some guys can win Super Bowls with the 3 of their 5 receivers.
Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings are out this week. Obviously Kittle's out. Obviously Ayuk's out. Nick Bosa's out defensively. The defense was okay last week against Jacksonville. And the thing is the schedule. They got the Rams, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, which is, decent, and Houston. Those are their next 4 games. So I'll still give them a shot at the playoffs. Who knows when these guys are coming back? But I think they're in serious trouble.
You jumped off that quick.
Well,
Purdy
Purdy's his guy.
I thought he could lead them, but
I don't think the Bengals feel bad that his toe hurts. I don't think the Ravens feel bad that his toe hurts. And this report does he know? Has he spoken to someone inside the organization, or he's just projecting that the guy played on Sunday, hurt his foot, and can't play on Thursday, so that means he's going to be out?
I think it's more than that, Coach. It's that they put him out there too early. He was already injured, and they put him out when he wasn't yet ready to come back, and it got worse.
Okay, but I don't think that necessarily means this is season ending. The idea of going from Sunday to Thursday is hard for anybody with an injury. So to project that out that this is going to be a long sustained injury, who knows? He was able to play those other games, and
let me ask you this, Coach, or all you guys. If they, like I mentioned, their next 4 teams, which are pretty good teams, and the division is good, the NFC West, could they get to a point where you're like, it's best to kind of not bring Brock back? If he's got to miss 7 games or whatever, and they're pretty much out of it by that point, and then even the other players that are injured, but even looking at a Christian McCaffrey, like, do we?
I don't think you're going to want to run Christian
him
McCaffrey
into the ground when maybe we'll have a shot at being healthy.
Listen, here's that type of math would need to be done by a coaching staff and in part a medical staff that you trust. And The Niners running Brock Purdy out there last week, now that we have this added information, is beyond baffling.
Yeah.
The NFL does not spin a wheel Sunday night and be like, let's see who's playing this coming Thursday. They knew they were going to play Sunday, then Thursday. Brock was pushing to play, was clearly not healthy yet if you watched the game, and now he's missing this Thursday, and they're worried it got worse and he's going to miss more time. And Vic Tafur covers the team for The Athletic, so I do imagine, Coach, he has real sourcing on it. What a reasonable team, I believe, with a reasonable medical staff that isn't always leading the league in injuries, would say is, hey, we're 2-0 with Mac Jones. We are going to be playing on Thursday anyway. If we hold Brock out this week, 4 days ago, he gets 4 extra days. He can then play Thursday and then have 10 days before his next game. They didn't do that. And so that is to me, Coach.
But in fairness now, you're a football coach. You're not a doctor, and you rely on the people who.
Yeah, I don't put it on Shannon.
No,
I'm just saying you have a bunch of guys with degrees, and you've got a trainer, and look, their injury history is problematic.
Yeah.
And so that needs to be looked at, I think, from a bigger picture perspective. But when you're sitting there trying to make a decision, if the doctor says he's good, and the trainer says he's good, and the player says he's good, then he's good, and it's hard to overrule the doctor because you're just not in the position to do that. That's why you have those guys to help you guide through the process.
Did this emergency backup thing hit your radar because they had to elevate Adrian Gonzalez?
Martinez, I think.
Okay, from he was our XFL star.
Was it? I might have the name wrong.
Okay.
So he's
right.
not able. He's not healthy enough to be the backup.
And now they can't elevate him anymore without signing him.
Exactly.
So then there's contract issues too. Why not just, if Brock is somewhat okay?
He's not somewhat okay.
Yeah, put him in a jersey.
Yeah, to me it seems like he can't play on Thursday night no matter what in any capacity, and that happens. So you elevate this guy. Now you've got a block of time afterwards. You see where you are. I just don't know if maybe it is more serious than we think, but. I mean, you're not the Bengals.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Here we go.
And everyone is saying doorstep of destiny is already being used for when Josh Allen and mini Josh Allen. It's almost like Şengün and Joker playing each other. That's Sunday night, national television.
So now Drake Maye is Şengün?
Hold on. Let him stay
Well,
on. Let him
just
stay
like
on
Baby
Mac
Joker.
Jones for a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But this certainly feels very similar to a doorstep of destiny type game, where it's like, oh, who did Kyle Shanahan have his eye on in the draft? Went through some tough times. All of a sudden, you're undefeated. No one believes in you. It's a short week. You're 8.5-point underdogs. You've got a bunch of Chiefs cast-offs, DeMarcus Robinson, Sky Moore, MVS. You do have your old buddy from New England, Kendrick Bourne. No one thinks you can get it done.
Connection in New England.
They didn't. They actually were pretty good. No, they were actually pretty good. Yeah.
Wouldn't it bum you out if he went and lit it up?
No, he would love it. KW
Would I be bummed out?
It wouldn't bum him out.
We're on the doorstep of destiny, Coach.
Here's what I'm saying, though.
Jason.
So then you blew a first-round draft pick and you let him out the door and he actually can play?
But he thinks, but also he feels
Drake's
like it's a
good, too.
win-win. He's got Drake, if Mac Jones. Yeah, and listen,
This is a moment. This is a moment in NFL history if this happens.
It might be more than a moment.
Wow, even more.
No, I mean, if Brock is out, he gets a chance to
he gets a
resurrect
chance.
himself.
But now Patriots fans are like Jets fans. They're cheering for Sam Darnold and Geno Smith.
That's
now
okay.
they're cheering for Mac Jones.
Cheering for the Raiders because Brady's got a piece of the Raiders. Cheering for the Fox broadcast. We're all over the place. Okay, we are moving on to Texans, favored against a Lamar-less Baltimore squad. Ravens trying to avoid a 1-4 start, Brew, which wouldn't doom the season. But since 1970, only 16 teams made the playoffs at 1-4. Jeff Schrebeck of The Athletic writing, Harbaugh must keep this team afloat until it presumably gets healthier following the bye week. If this tailspin continues, the offseason changes within the organization could be wide-reaching. Coach, you want to start here? You love these hot seat combos.
What's it based off of? Well, because
it's right there. It could be wide-reaching.
Okay, so the guy hasn't earned the benefit of the doubt. So after 4 games where you're decimated from an injury perspective, now suddenly he can't coach. Suddenly he doesn't know how to run the organization. They've been pretty good for a long time. He's won a Super Bowl, but now they've got a 4-game stretch where it's not very good. So.
See, I don't think it's the 4-game stretch.
Let's have wide-ranging changes.
Go ahead, Bro.
I agree with Coach in that, and where I disagree with the article was he has to keep them afloat. Like, I'm not looking at that. I don't care if he keeps them afloat or not. To me, I do think Harbaugh should be on the hot seat, but it's nothing to do with staying afloat. It is if they go out. Now, look, let me first start here where I wouldn't think he should be on the hot seat. If Lamar misses the next several games, they already have these other injuries, and the season ends up being kind of a lost season because of injury, then I don't have a problem with Harbaugh staying. But if they go out like they have these last few years, Lamar gets healthy, they start rolling, make the playoffs, and then they go out kind of like they have when you're expecting them to win and they lose in the playoffs, because the things that have failed them in the playoffs are things you typically would look at the coaching staff for. A lot of penalties. They get a lot of penalties. Then stuff like lack of discipline, taunting penalties, unsportsmanlike penalties, forgetting kind of your game plan like they did against Kansas City a couple years ago, not running the football, bad play calling, which we've already seen this year. Like, that's the stuff that if that hurts them in a playoff game and they lose, that's when I'm looking at Harbaugh. Because, Coach, sometimes you just need a new voice. He's been there 18 years. Andy Reid got fired after 14 years. Belichick essentially got fired. Like, you can get fired even as you're a good coach.
Came early. Like that, the Super Bowl.
He was in trouble before he got Lamar.
He was in trouble. What a lot of people think the reason they switched from Flacco to Lamar was because they needed a spark and it had been a long enough time. We can show you his, the first 7 years versus last 10 years, and that's not including this season. It's that years with a playoff win that jumps out at you. 6 of his first 7 years, they won a playoff game. 3 of the last decade, they've won a playoff game. We're talking about if that continues. Here is what I think is fair, Coach. Oh, go ahead. Go.
Well, so the Andy Reid decision, that was a plus decision for Philly. They're like, wow, we really nailed that one.
It has been.
Andy went up to Kansas City and won back-to-back Super Bowls and drafted the next generational talent at quarterback.
They got
Philly's got 2 Super Bowls. It's a new
they've been
voice.
on 3 coaches.
It's just don't you think sometimes
coaches?
Yeah.
Don't you think sometimes you need a new voice? Even it's not saying Harbaugh's not a good coach. I think he would get another job if he wants it in the league.
No, I just think that Andy Reid is a really good. Maybe it's not apples to apples, but it's not like Andy Reid was washed up. He went out and lit it up in Kansas.
But they were struggling those last years.
I'm glad you brought up Andy Reid, because here is the deal, guys. If you have one of the contemporary Mount Rushmore quarterbacks, you're always on the hot seat.
Yes.
Reid, Harbaugh, McDermott, Taylor. They must perform every single year. And because the Chiefs' success has prevented those other guys, except for Taylor, from ever even being like, we got to a Super Bowl, you don't have every year feels like it ends in disappointment. Yeah. Every year you have Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes that you don't end up in the Super Bowl. You feel like you came up short. And since Patrick Mahomes tends to go to every Super Bowl, we go into the year like McDermott's on the hot seat. Harbaugh, and the other piece of it is because, my opinion, there is so much protectionism of Lamar. It can't be, well, we're coming up short because in the playoffs we don't have a Mount Rushmore quarterback. But in the playoffs we have just a guy, right. And so then the scrutiny goes on Harbaugh even more so.
You're not getting rid of Lamar.
No, obviously.
No, we're not. But can you also give him credit for taking Lamar when most of the league said
100%
hard pass?
It's a long time ago, though, now.
I understand
and he has helped develop Lamar. I will give you that.
So then he had Greg Roman there who fit really well with Lamar's skill set coming out of college. giving him time and them time to win games and develop Lamar as a passer, there's got to be some value in that.
100%.
And I know we're looking at where he is now and then discrediting all the other things that come to it because we're on a little bit of a skid. I just think you got to look at the body of work.
I don't think it's the 1-3, Coach. I think Ravens fans went into this year feeling like we could have won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. We came, had a home AFC title game, didn't play well. Last year, we had historically great health. We couldn't even get back to the AFC title game. I think there was pressure going into this season, and now that it's gone this way, and he seems to be feeling it a bit with that press conference really putting a lot at Todd Monken's feet. So I don't think it's unfair.
They lost in the playoffs to a team they had beaten by 25 points.
Didn't one of their best players drop a pass that was in his hands?
Yeah, but I would argue, should it have been that close?
Right.
Drake's on the doorstep of destiny next. Bills are huge favorites when they host the Patriots, who are on the doorstep of destiny Sunday night. Revenge game for Stephon in his first trip back to Buffalo. Here he is on comparisons between Josh and Drake.
I was with a young Josh. I mean, he wasn't that young. And then, obviously, I'm with a young Drake right now. But I see the similarities. I try not to get into player comparisons at all. They're two different young men. But, I see why they say that they all play with that mindset, that dog mindset. And I see Drake coming along the same way. So I see why.
Okay. Here are some comparisons. If Stephon doesn't necessarily want to do it, I'll do it. Completion percentage goes to Drake Maye. Total yards, Josh, who, don't get me wrong, no one's played the game like him. Has
Ever.
9 more yards.
That really makes
yards per
Drake
pass,
look good.
exactly the same. Touchdowns, 9-3, 10-1, and
Pass rating identical.
Well, no. Again, Josh Allen, no one's ever played the game like him, is at 109.7, and Drake Maye is at 109.4 on the doorstep of destiny. Do you think this is a fair comparison, Brew?
Look.
Yep. Exactly.
I wouldn't mind being wrong. I like Drake Maye. I like him as a player. I last year, I thought I'm just saying. I don't think he's going to be as good as Josh Allen.
Yeah, good.
Right. There's been very few quarterbacks ever as good as Josh Allen.
You don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer and win MVP? I think it's a fair take.
I think the comparisons are fair. He's big, he's 6'4", 225.
Not in that picture behind Wild.
Josh Allen is
that picture.
He's bigger than that.
Both of them.
Right, he's an inch smaller, inch shorter than Josh. So he's a big guy. He's got a cannon for an arm, like Josh. He can run the football. You said it, like Michael Vick and all that.
Randall Cunningham.
So he came in kind of raw. We're gonna mold him. He's got all the physical tools. We'll mold him.
Powerhouse school.
So I think the comparisons are fair. You do see some similarities for sure.
When you look at their first seasons, Drake actually probably had a better first season statistically than Josh did. And the other thing that's valuable to both those guys, so Josh had Brian Daboll with him, and now Drake has Josh McDaniels, which I think is going to be a significant part of his development. And it just depends on how hard he works in the classroom. And if he legitimately has that same work ethic that I think Josh Allen has, then he has a real opportunity to make significant strides, not just this year, but moving forward. And that gives him the best chance. The other issue is Josh went through that phase of, tons of touchdowns, tons of picks, which Drake, that's an issue as well. So will Drake be on the roller coaster as well, or will he be able to figure that aspect out? Because you can't be losing games while you're trying to hopefully win a few.
It does feel like Josh makes this offense a little bit easier for Drake, just watching the games. He doesn't have to
Josh McDaniels,
sorry. Yeah. Drake doesn't have to do a lot of heroic stuff. There's some plays that play will work. It's a simple play with simple passes, what Mac Jones benefited from. We all know that Drake is on the doorstep of destiny in this game. I do have a caveat, because people are like, doorstep of destiny, that means the ball's going to be flying around. It's going to be like Mahomes, Josh. Everyone's going to have 300 yards. I don't
think everybody is thinking.
Everybody.
I'm just telling you. I don't think.
There's one person at the destiny.
No, go ahead.
Doorstep of destiny.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Buffalo's run defense is giving up 164 yards per game.
Against bad teams.
New Orleans ran.
Not Baltimore. But
no, but New Orleans, who it's like, oh, they're going to be down. They're going to throw. New Orleans, they gave up 189 to New Orleans, 130 to Miami. The Jets ran for 100, including 50 from
You know
Justin
who
Fields.
would definitely take advantage of that?
Who?
Michael Vick and Randall Cunningham.
Hello.
I
I just think we're going to be running the ball a lot, and it's not going to be.
But you have the most prolific rushing passer in the history of football.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
Michael
so
Vick back
he's
there.
gonna run.
He's going to run, and he hasn't really done a ton.
Got
But it's not. I think it's just going to be more of a ground and pound game than the ball. It's also might be windy. Have you seen this video of Josh Allen throwing the ball in the wind?
Can I just give me 15 seconds to give my take on this? I like Drake the second most of any quarterback in the draft class. I liked him more than Jaden. I think he is actually ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
I think any Josh Allen comp is unfair to a player. I think Josh's trajectory and Josh is unlike any player we've ever seen. And where I do agree, we joke about the take of he plays the position better than anyone's ever played it or whatever the quote was. He does have physical traits that to me are only matched in NFL history by Cam, as far as his size, his rushing ability, and arm strength. And I think Drake Maye has good size, good rushing, arm strength. I think he can be a great player, and not be Josh Allen.
The game feels very slow to Josh Allen. Like just feels like it's slowed.
Some people
way
say
down.
he looks like Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that's coach.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still there.
That would be disappointing.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
Live from New York at the show. It's on the doorstep of destiny.
KW, you're running a risk here.
About what?
Your Patriots-related catchphrases
Which are
have
I
always
only have doorstep of destiny.
No. Dynasty gap year.
That was good.
The drive for 5 wins.
That was good.
Take them to the hill.
That fell apart.
Baby go.
Baby go.
One for 4.
Yeah, these are
Because
must
Jarrett
have
the
one.
Javelin Condor.
Jarrett the Javelin. KW, you've got to be careful.
None of those have hit.
No, none of them. You don't have a never a doubt in your.
I feel like I'm due.
This is the one.
Destiny.
This is the
That's
one.
how you turn it around. You're due.
Whiz. I didn't realize that. Second hour, first things first. Today, do we expect Jalen Hurts to get the Eagles back on track against this tough Broncos defense? We
Nick
discussed.
Bonito's been maybe the best defensive player in football this year.
That's a good take. I like that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Arguably.
can Mac Jones and some former Chiefs put Stafford on upset alert? Or is Stafford going to have a huge game?
Is that your upset alert? Are you laying claim to that?
No, not yet. No.
Because I'll let you have that if you.
I don't want that
You
one.
can't do it. It's tonight. Upset alerts
You
tomorrow.
can always do that, though.
You can't pick it after the
No,
games
I-
happen.
No, not after the game. No, we're
wanna
doing
do
picks.
that.
We're doing picks
New
at the
England.
bottom of the hour.
New England.
I'm not
Yeah,
going to
New
do that
England
either.
is upset.
That's
No,
gonna
it's
be
not.
your.
Don't tell me what.
Okay.
I don't want to. I want
You
to
can pick
leave
whatever
it to
you
you.
want.
If you want New England,
No,
I think that's fair.
No, if you want to take the doorstep of destiny team. Right now, of course, it's time for the most motivational segment in all sports. Also, time we read some viewer mail. Every day, we just get a boatload of letters. We go to the post office. Christina brings them back. She looks like Santa with a sack of letters in there. Not toys, letters. Some toys when people send them to us. I think your kids would like this. I said, what? They're 13. What's he going to do with a little train set? Dear Wilds, love the show and all of these somewhat clever bits. Wow, thank you. Have the injuries to Brew and the Ravens replaced the sandwiches bit? Thanks, Ryan and Brian. That is a good point. This is, we weren't expecting this bit to take off like it has been, but it's actually grown more popular than the sandwich bits. And of course, Our crack staff is always looking to capitalize on the popularity of your acting skills, and that's why we introduced the Cowboy Brew First Aid Kit. Bring home all the joy of First Things First. With a special Cowboy Brew First Aid Kit. They are flying off.
It came in handy this week.
Yes.
The last 2 weeks, really. Yeah. You see, I'm up and at 'em. I'm all good. So.
Fantastic.
And no, I think of those bits as related.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, the whole sandwich thing that's why I put the robe on, because I made them get me their robe.
They're in the same cinematic universe.
Yeah, they're all,
like Marvel.
Good carryover.
I just haven't,
The Bruce.
The Brew universe.
Yeah.
Like Bruto was in another universe.
All right, here we go. At number 3, now to show you that the Bud list plays no favorites. There are no favoritism in the Bud list. You're going to like this, Wilds.
Great.
At number 3, even though I like Brock Purdy, Mac Jones.
What a fair Bud list.
All right, Mac Jones, smart choice to go to the Niners. Not because Brock Purdy got hurt, but to learn under Kyle Shanahan. And now that Brock did get hurt, this is your chance at redemption. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, who's the other one?
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. And maybe Daniel Jones. I think the jury's still out. But those 4 guys that were left for dead, and at least 3 of them, maybe 4 of them, are now viewed as legitimate franchise quarterbacks. So that could be you. It won't be easy. You got the Rams tonight. Maybe you'll get a few more games too. And your receiving core is depleted. But it's not supposed to be easy, all right? So you have a chance to go out and reestablish yourself to the point that if you play well, next year, you might go into camp somewhere with a legitimate chance to start. It won't be San Francisco, Wilds. I'm sorry. It won't be San Francisco. I do think Brock is better than you, but also he's got the $265 million contract. However, you could earn a spot somewhere else if you go in there and play well. Mac Jones, yeah. I'm leaving the door open to your resurrection.
We'll take it.
That?
Wow. We'll take it. Thank you.
All right, at number 2, Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Now, guys, we knew this day was coming. We knew 40-year-old Joe Flacco was going to struggle. Nothing against him. It's just 40 years old. All right? And you two would get real live NFL tryouts in games. And that's what you're going to get. Dillon, you are up first. You can end this thing. If you go out there and play well, spark the offense, maybe get a few wins, even if you don't get some wins, if you just play well and give the offense a spark, we may never see Shedeur playing this season. So you have the first shot. I don't think it'll go that way, but hey, you got your chance. Shedeur, here's what you have to do. I think you will get several games worth of action. I think Gabriel will struggle to the point where they will give you your shot. Until then, you have got to make sure you know that offense backwards and forwards. I want you to get in early and leave late. I don't really want you to do any interviews either. All right, don't do any interviews. If you do, though, talk. Talk in your interviews, all right? If you do them, and just say, I'm pulling for Dillon, and actually show that you're pulling for him. I get inside. You're a human being, right? It's human nature. You want to play. But just say all the right things. I'm pulling for Dillon. He's my guy. Be supportive. Show on the sidelines, look like you're supporting him. If he does something great, give him a hand, whatever it is, all right? Even if you don't feel it, it's just the right thing to do. All right, so go ahead and do that, and then you get your shot. Dillon, we'll see. Shedeur, I definitely believe in you. Okay. All right. At number 1, C.J. Stroud. C.J., hey, what's going on?
Perfect.
I mean, Coach had you as the MVP going into last year. We all thought you were that guy. What were you? He was your MVP, right? We all thought you had a fantastic rookie season, but last year was a struggle. And what the first 3.5 games this year have been a struggle. I get it. You don't have much of an offensive line. You really haven't since you've been there, and you overcame that as a rookie. But look, good news. The second half of last week's game against Tennessee, which isn't a bad defense, you got going. You looked like the CJ of old. You had 2 touchdowns for the game, a 125 passer rating. And look, the good Lord is shining on you, CJ. Now you got it going, and here come the Ravens.
Yeah.
Here come the Ravens who, 1, don't have a good defense at this point, and 2, have 7 of their starters from that defense out. So you have a chance to go in there and really cook and not only save the Titans season, but really save your own image or position as a future up-and-coming star quarterback. CJ, you know I believe in you.
Excellent.
What a
Excellent bud list, right, Coach?
Fantastic, wasn't it? Very nice.
Thank you, Coach. It means more coming from
It
Coach.
does.
No offense.
Oh,
But
Nice reset. I'm going to add somebody. I'm going to add Nick's favorite draft pick in the last probably 20 years, Ashton Genty, to the list. And when Genty was coming out, I had concerns. I had concerns about him catching the ball out of the backfield. I had concerns about him consistently holding up. And I had concerns about him going as high as he did in the draft. And looking at Pete Carroll's draft history, that really wasn't the way he went. But they decided to go with him, and his early games were disappointing. So then last week, he switches back to his, I think he calls it his Michael Myers stance, but it is his very unique college stance. And things turned around a little bit. So he ended up with 138 yards on 21 carries, 2 receptions for 17 yards, and 3 total touchdowns. All excellent. Now, one of those runs was 64 yards. So he had a big run. And if you look at the rest of the average, 20 carries divided into the rest of the yards, they're still under 4 yards a carry, which is disappointing. Now, he's going to be facing the Colts with Jonathan Taylor, and we know everything that he's meant to the organization. If we can show his numbers versus Jonathan Taylor's numbers. So there's some comps here, but he needs to be, for the Raiders, what Jonathan Taylor is for the Colts, and what he's done for Daniel Jones, hopefully Ashton Genty can now do for Geno Smith. So that's I want to believe in you.
Come on. You want to run the damn ball.
I want this progression to continue. And you could say, well, maybe he's too small, but there's another guy that was the same size, and this is who they're hoping they're going to be, and that was Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was 5'8". Barry Sanders was a little bit lighter when he came out. Now, a little bit different overall production, but that's who the Raiders are hoping he will be.
do you coach?
That's who the Raiders. So that's who they're hoping.
They drafted him that high.
And
well, I mean, Barry Sanders might be the greatest running back.
No, I know. If he could be 3/4 of
I'm only
Barry
bringing up
Sanders.
Barry Sanders in case anybody says, well, his size, that could be a little bit issue in the NFL.
No.
They're identical sizes.
No, yeah, it's
and then
not
you've
his
got
size.
the impact that Jonathan Taylor had for
The Colts.
the Colts, and hopefully he can do that for the Raiders.
I got a question for you, Coach. Do you buy the whole stance thing?
Here's what I'll say. Just like Pete Carroll, Pete was really happy with the production he had. He changed his stance. If that's what makes him feel good, stand any way you want. You can stand on your head if you're going to get me 5 yards a carry.
I do think he can see. He said he can see the defense better. That's why he likes it.
Okay.
Because he can
'Cause he is
see
short,
the
so
way
right,
the
right.
defense is.
Okay.
When he's down like this, he can't see the way the defense is lining up. And so he said it helps. That's why he likes it.
And it's one of those things in the NFL where if a guy feels really comfortable with a certain thing and it makes him play better, at that point, it's
Yeah, I
like,
would.
Maybe it's a placebo effect.
yeah, it could be just mentally what he
But
feels.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
If he can see better with it, it's like a guy's jump shot.
and
going in, don't change the form.
And seeing that I won't be here tomorrow, I'm going to also add a little to this.
Wow, Coach is
An
I
early
didn't know you weren't
upset
gonna be-
alert.
Wow.
Ashton Genty
Oh, so you do believe in Genty?
and the Raiders will upset the Indianapolis Colts.
Wow.
There you go.
Great coach going for a
Coach.
10-pointer. I love it, Coach.
You're trying to
Trying
end
to
it early.
extend
You guys
the
already
lead.
have a lead. You're trying
Wow,
to end it.
great
Also,
So
job.
hopefully he's watching the bud list. Hopefully he hears what I'm saying. Hopefully Geno
gave him a
doesn't
lot
turn
of
the ball
motivation.
over.
I love it, Coach.
And it
Well, I didn't know you
translates
weren't
into a
gonna be
big
here.
win.
We only have a 30-minute show tomorrow.
Well, still.
Oh, that's fair then.
Yeah, he gets to go
Coach
see his
is
boys play
30
ball.
minutes, that's the A block.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
It's time. It's 4:13 on a Thursday, which means it's time, whether you like it or not, for the Sports Media Ombudsman. We're going to look through the world of sports
That's quite the introduction, Kevin.
Taking the world by storm.
I would, before I get to it, a quick story about myself and kind of my journey through religion.
Wow. Here we go.
How much
Really?
time do we have?
It'll be brief, but it applies here.
Then, Brew, you do yours.
So,
Mine's about an hour long.
so people pay good money to hear Bruce. So I was raised Roman Catholic. Baptized, grew up in the Catholic Church, even went to Catholic school for the first few years of my education. However, my grandfather, my mom's dad, was Jewish. So I learned a little bit about Judaism through him. I went to temple a couple times to see what it was. And in high school, my best friend and basketball co-captain was a kid named Muhammad, who was Muslim. And one year I even fasted with him during Ramadan and went to mosque with him. And my biggest takeaway from that was two things. One was, I feel like all groups could maybe learn a little from the others, different things, and there's a lot in common. Like, there's a whole lot of overlap, which you don't always see because it seems like there's a lot of conflict amongst these groups throughout all of world history. Well, the same thing is happening right now. Sports media world, the NFL, the film watchers and the field watchers. We can learn from each other, and we don't have to be at war. I feel like, watching or surveying sports media, that the field watchers, the guys who just like, as Danny Parkins would say, I can see the NFL, sure, sometimes take info from the film watchers or data, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting. Whether it be that when we look at this team in 12 tight end personnel, 12 personnel is extra effective, or this quarterback's really good with play action. It's like, oh, I'll add to it. Sadly, it does not feel like it goes in the other direction. Feels like the film watchers almost feel like they have a monopoly on football knowledge.
Oh.
And it doesn't matter how many games you can watch and be like, now is this about Lamar? A little bit. It doesn't seem like Lamar plays his best in big games. It's like, really? Small sample size right up your nose, sir. And it's more than just that, though. At its core, Brew, this is about how great Isaiah Thomas actually was. How important running the damn ball actually can be. Why a 9-inning starting pitcher in baseball actually matters. Those things, there is validity to it, even if there's not numbers to fully back it up. Yeah. So here is what I petition. We should have a summit. And guess who can be the intermediary? This guy right here.
Sports media ombudsman.
Yeah, I can go, because guess what? I can wear both hats. I can go do the math problems with the nerds. I can chug beers with the field watchers. I can play both sides of that coin, because there is something to be learned from both sides of it. It can't just be I feel this way watching a player, and it can't just be I put in the numbers and this is what it tells me and you take none of it. So I think we could all come together a bit, turn the temperature down, as they say, and learn from each other.
I thought that was very good. Just can I add one thing to it?
Yeah.
As someone who's a field watcher, you are a nerd.
I knew you were going to.
That is not.
That's what I'm saying.
You are not in the middle. You are 90% nerd, dude.
See, that's what I'm saying. I feel like my roots are in the nerddom,
yeah,
but the nerds have abandoned me entirely. I'm just with the field watchers.
And I feel like you identified three different groups here: the field watchers, the film watchers, and really, aren't you talking about the number
I
crunchers?
feel like the film watchers and the number crunchers hang out together, and they think the field watchers don't know what they're talking about.
I do think there are.
Coach is putting himself in another group. People who know actually what's happening.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's interesting.
Did you see the Spags quote on PFF?
I did, yeah.
I thought that you were going to use it. I thought it was good.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I'm not doing
What
that.
was
but
his
I'm
quote?
Well, yeah.
He was just talking about, like, PFF does a good job putting grades on people, and usually, there's controversy on what grades people get. And Spags is like, if you don't know what the person's assignment was exactly, how could you know if they executed the assignment? I think it was like maybe it was a Chris Jones.
Well, listen, thing. I think PFF does overall a really good job, but they have an impossible job because of the exact point they made. And also, like, their lowest rated quarterback in the league this year of 37 qualifiers is Aaron Rodgers. And I'm like, that to me just doesn't, and I'm not a Rodgers guy. That doesn't fit what I've seen.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no world where I'm like, Bryce is playing and Jake Browning are playing much better than Rodgers. Like, it just doesn't feel that way.
I'm doing a quick Travis Hunter on the Bud list.
Nice.
We spent a lot of time talking about Travis in Colorado. We talked a lot about Travis in the draft, and now he has arrived. We talked about him preseason. What are they going to do? And now he has arrived. He's played 4 games, and I think this is the first time we've talked about him, which is a strange mix. So remember, early on, we were like, he wants to play 100% on offense, 100% on defense. And people were a little skeptical. Here's how it's played out so far. Snap percentage on offense, we are at 58%. He's got under 30.
So he's played 58% of the
snaps on offense. Okay. And then on defense, he's at 39%. He's got 11 tackles, no interceptions. Now, the team is winning, so maybe this does work. And as a bonus, I tried to look at the next wide receiver drafted, which is Tet. So Travis got 13 catches for 118 yards. Ted has 18 catches for 278, so it's not a huge gap. The next cornerback was Barron from Texas. He's played, for the Broncos, he's only played 4 games, 74 snaps. So maybe a lot of those guys aren't getting a ton of burn, but I expected to see more of Travis, and maybe he'll get better as the season goes, Coach. He's also got the Chiefs on Monday, so this might be a little coming out party, or do you think he's just going to be suppressed?
Those numbers, if you combine them, isn't that 96%?
Well, so he's played.
Isn't that less than one player would have played on once if he's played every snap?
Game.
Well, he's played. Yeah. No, he's played less than one player would on.
If you drafted a full-time player, at number 2.
Yeah, he's played less than that.
So I do listen. I don't.
I think
correct. No, he is.
I know we have Nick here, so
he has I think he has played a lower percentage of snaps this year than Josh Simmons, who was the 32nd pick of the draft for the Chiefs, because he's the starting left tackle and he's played every game, everything. I was all in on Travis trying to do both. Like, why put a limit on him? It feels to me, probably having a closer eye on Jags games than most, that they are getting the worst of both worlds at the moment. That's what you were worried about. You know what I mean? That they are getting what you were worried about. That instead, that they are getting a mediocre receiver and a mediocre corner instead of, you know what I mean? And I don't think he's that. But I'm saying that's the production they're getting up to this point.
Classic one.
I just did not, for all the great athletes in this league, including the Deion Sanders, I was just like, he's that much better than all of them. None of them went full-time both ways. He's better than them. So I think his best, I don't even know if he'll be a star on one side of the ball, but I think that's his best chance to become one.
He's also out there. Try to play him 100% on defense and mix him in on offense.
Like that. He's also out there just blocking.
That's throwing it out there. Maybe that'd be good.
That's the Budless most motivational segment in all sports. Up next, the Prince versus the King of the AFC.
Oh my!
Dun dun dun.
Josh Allen?
Stop. Right now, he's clearly a better corner than.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight?
Aha!
Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at canva.com.
NFL doubleheader this weekend. Dak and the Cowboys taking on the Jets. Then in America's Game of the Week, it's Justin Herbert, Danny Parkins guy, and the Chargers taking on the Commanders. Jaden's back. It's Sunday, only on Fox. We're not going to huddle this segment, guys. You're like, wow, what are we going to do? Don't worry. Broncos at Eagles, Sunday at 1. Jalen Hurts talked about what the team learned from this second half of the Bucs game, which saw the offense put up 0 passing yards. Take a listen.
I see it as a great opportunity, the negatives and turning them into positives and then building upon the positives. You know, it takes true synchronization. Obviously, we strive for consistency, and it takes great focus. You know, nothing we can do can be casual. We just got to do it with great focus and great intensity. And that starts with our preparation. been very efficient football at rates, and then we've had these lows, and so we just got to stay together and band together.
I love him. I just love him.
He'd be a great coach someday.
That's a great take.
Yeah, he's so good the way he presents himself.
Eagles 20. So this is the last 8 games from the Eagles. They're 8 wins, which is nice. They've won in the playoff games by 17. They've only won these games by 5. Hurts' total yards is down 30 plus, and Saquon's yards
are almost cut in half.
Yikes! I didn't realize it was that bad. 143 to about 77. Are you expecting a complete game from Jalen in the Eagles against the Broncos, Nick?
I mean, no, because we haven't, in my opinion, really seen one yet. And I think the Eagles right now, Coach, are a great case study in one of your favorite catchphrases that I'm sure you didn't come up with, but I give you credit for. Maybe you
know I didn't come up with it.
Because I think you're going to tell me you got it from Parcells or something. Okay. Do not ignore in victory what you would not ignore in defeat. Did you come up with that?
No, I don't even think I said it that way.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying. And because right now the offense is broken. And that I don't think that's an overstatement. If we show you their offensive ranks, to me, the fact that they're able to score 27 points per game, despite being 30th in yards, 31st in passing yards, 16th in rushing yards, 29th in yards per rush, 30th in yards per play, tied for 25th in explosives, I don't think that's sustainable. So maybe we don't like, or people didn't like, the way A.J. Brown has sounded the alarm because it feels A.J. Brown-centric. The kinder way, or the more optimistic lens to look at it is, A.J. Brown is saying, yes, I want the ball, but that's because what we're doing isn't working. And so I do think they need to change what they're doing in order to have a chance to keep the undefeated record, which is the only reason we're not sounding major alarms.
Yeah, when you look at it, it's hard to know what a complete game for Philly is anymore because it used to be Saquon would be dominant, and then from a passing perspective, they made enough plays to win, but they didn't have to rely on it. Now the passing game doesn't really work. Saquon's not really working, but they are winning, and at the end of the day, that's what the most important thing is. We talked about the Chiefs last year and the way that they won in a lot of different ways, and you got to give them credit for that because that's a sign of a mature team to be able to find that. But to Nick's point, there is a lot of stuff broken, and they did transition offensive coordinators again, and that happened last year because the offensive coordinator the year before wasn't very good. Maybe that's a much bigger issue than we think in terms of play call continuity, the types of plays that are being chosen. So it's nothing they don't realize, and it's going to get significantly louder the first game that they lose. And to not be able to somehow show some progress in these victories, I think is going to be a huge, huge issue when they finally do lose a game.
Yeah, I mean, look, Denver could beat them. I would expect Philly to win, but Denver's a good team, and Philly's not going 17-0. I don't expect the complete game either offensively. Denver's defense is really good. They lead the league in sacks. They've only given up 2 pass touchdowns the whole season, and that's best in the league. So what I expect is Philly to look really good at points. I'm not saying it's going to be one great half and one bad half offensively, but I think they'll have their moments and they look good, and then they'll have moments and they'll look pretty bad. And I think they'll win a game that's okay. They got to win, but we're not like raving about the offense.
Do you think they can fix?
I definitely think they can because you got a quarterback. They've shown like whenever they let him throw, he does it well.
But what's not sustainable is they can't be this bad throwing the ball and this bad running the ball and this inconsistent with production on either side of the ball for significant stretches. It's worked to this point, but it's hard to imagine that we're not going to get to a point like when they hit the supernatural funk a couple years ago.
Right. They've had spurts. Yeah, their spurts are winning them the games.
You just hope that once they do fall, it doesn't spiral like it did 2 years ago.
Like you look Dallas, the Rams, and Tampa Bay. They had spurts for like a half.
Yes.
Offensively. Kansas City, they were kind of the same the whole game.
Yeah, that was a decent game.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing about it all is they've played a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
They've won all the games. They have thoroughly dominated their opponent in half of each of the last 2 games. They thoroughly dominated the Rams in the second half. They thoroughly dominated the Bucs in the first half. They beat Kansas City straight up in Kansas City. Yep. And this is why this is a compliment, Eagles fans. You're doing this without playing well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a compliment to the overall talent and depth of the roster right now. But I agree with Coach. I think that from a vibes perspective, the thing keeping it steady, Jalen's a great leader, but is that we haven't lost.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Once that heat's going to
because then it's going to feel like we're massively underachieving statistically and we've lost.
Monday night, the king of the AFC taking on the Prince, Mahomes versus Trevor. Now, Trevor's 0-3 versus Mahomes in his career. The Jags defense forcing turnovers, and the Prince will try to get himself off of the following list. Winless against Patrick. Baker, Drew Lock, the Prince, Tua, Jimmy G, and Big Ben.
And that's actually that's a good list. That's a list of really good quarterbacks. Big Ben's a Hall of Famer. Jimmy G's one of Bruce's favorites.
You have to be good enough to keep playing.
You love Tua.
Well, listen.
That's a decent list.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Lock just played in the division and was bad. But Baker's awesome. Trevor's the Prince, yeah.
So we're going to flip this. What would a win over Mahomes mean for Trevor?
Oh, it'd mean the Prince is full on back. They're 4-1. You beat Mahomes. At that point, people would not. Here's the bright side to playing in Jacksonville and nobody really paying attention. The national media is not focused on the fact that Trevor hasn't played well this year. I am, because I'm invested in the guy, and you know what I mean? I watch him. I bet on him last week. Appreciate coming through for us Jags there. It wasn't so much him. But I think Trevor is having one of the worst starts to a season, maybe the worst start to a season individually since his rookie year. They are winning despite it. And I think that is encouraging, because I think Etienne, who was seemingly a little on the trade block maybe this offseason, but then they traded Bigsby instead, and Etienne's been great. They're turning the ball over like crazy. That's the piece that I don't think is sustainable, so they will need Trevor to play better. So in order for them to win this game, I don't think they're going to be able to win it the way they've won their games up to this point in the year, which is despite the play of the quarterback. I think it would mean Trevor has an awesome game against a defense that last 3 games is playing really well. And I think people all of a sudden be like, wow, look at the Jags, 4-1, first in the division, second best record in the AFC, beat Kansas City. I think he'd get back to his princely status. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's what it would mean.
Yeah, so the giveaway-takeaway ratio has saved Jacksonville. And there's been a bunch of problems with this team that have been overlooked because of the giveaway-takeaway ratio and the fact that they've been able to win these games. But they're first in the league in penalties, so they're most penalized team. They're first in the league in drop passes.
That's not Trevor's fault.
And, well, I mean,
pillowy ball.
We'll see where the pillowy ball might be not so pillowy. But those problems that Jacksonville has are pretty disappointing, and you'd like to see them get better or have gotten better, but they haven't been. So a win over Kansas City, if Trevor Lawrence is actually responsible for the win, would have real significance. If it's more a function of the defense being able to turn the ball over against Mahomes and those turnovers leading to the win, I don't think it has the same impact.
Yeah, look, a win, it would be huge for Jacksonville. Like it would kind of mean, okay, they're for real, not as a contender, but in the hunt for that division championship. Yeah. For Trevor, first of all, I don't know what back means. Like, when was he? I mean, like, back to the Clemson days, or
back to before he came out?
Right,
back to before he suffered a career-altering injury that his career hasn't been the same since.
I mean, this is how Trevor. You mentioned how he's been struggling, Nick. Look at these ranks.
I told you he hasn't been good.
I mean,
I didn't know they were this bad.
That is horrific.
You were like, it's pretty bad. I didn't know it was this bad.
Yeah, that's why I knew Nick was going to soft pedal it. So
I didn't soft pedal it. I said he hasn't been good.
All right, that's not good. That's like horrific.
Yeah, that's bad, I would say.
And so even if he goes out there and cooks, I have to see more. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, Trevor has arrived. I got to see he's not in the Daniel Jones territory. I won't put him there. But I want to see a several game stretch where, for the most part, he is like, okay, he looks like a really good quarterback. Just one great game won't do it for him.
So a lot of times when we have those bad quarterback stats, we say offensive line. That's a lot with
or coaching.
Yeah. Trevor's been pressured on 21.7% of his drive.
Listen,
second lowest in the league.
I'm here.
So he's sitting back.
He's got one of the best running backs in the league thus far.
I'm here to tell you.
2 very good receivers.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you. The coaching's been good. The protection's been good. He's had a great running game. The only part of this that I think is not on him is the drops have been brutal, and that part I do not think is fair to blame Trevor Lawrence for. But he has not only has he missed some easy throws, his mistakes come in the red zone. And that sadly is the trend for his whole career. This is why they call me the mayor of fair. Even though he's my guy, I have to be honest about what I'm saying.
What year
I don't know what Trevor
was. We're like year 12 with Trevor now. He's kind of like, well, maybe he's not going to make it.
All right. First of all, it's year 5. Second of all, year 2, 7th in MVP voting. Pretty good. He was 7th. Year 2.
By that point,
I apologize.
Just like, whatever. I don't care.
In year 2, there were 6 whole players more valuable than Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry. Gotta apologize for it.
Coming up next, we discuss tonight's game. Is Stafford going to put on an MVP-esque performance? Oh, guess what? Big noon Saturday in Ann Arbor. Pre-game starts at 10 a.m. Eastern. Then it's Bryce Underwood and the Wolverines against the Wisconsin Badgers at noon. It is only on Fox. The Wilds family are going to be locked into this.
You might want to include Michigan in your emotional hedge bet of the weekend.
Great call by you.
Yeah, I got you.
Good point. 49ers at Rams, Stafford rolling. Over 1,100 yards already, second in the league. 8 touchdowns, only 2 picks. Short week at home. Nick, this is your guy. Are you expecting an MVP performance from everybody's All-American, Matthew Stafford?
Listen, I think Stafford will be excellent. I also think, throw a little curveball, because the MVP award is not the quarterback of the year award, that Puka Nacua could have an MVP performance.
Love it.
And 2 years ago, we were honestly discussing if Tyreek Hill got to 2,000 yards, should he get real MVP consideration? Puka, through 4 weeks, has 500 yards and 42 catches. He's on pace to shatter the catch record and shatter the yards record in a 16-game season. He has 17. Now, you don't know how he's going to keep it up. But yes, I do expect Stafford to be excellent. I also don't think that's going to be the story of the game or the segment, because we have late-breaking video.
So I have not seen this, but you were over the moon.
Mac Jones is getting his 3rd start for the Niners. Here's what he wore. Here's what your guy Mac Jones wore in today. Hold on, see if we get the reverse angle as well. He went all red once. He's now going, how would you like the Riddler?
Yeah, I think it's a Riddler outfit.
And it's in the back. I did see a reverse angle before. It's split like that as well. That's your guy, KW. Sockless, which I know you like. Loafers, similar to the ones I bought you and you returned.
Can I give my take on this?
Yes, please do.
Don't hate it.
You got swag.
Exactly. I do not hate it. He has to walk the fine line between confidence and I'm undefeated and set the completion record at Alabama, Mac. This may be trending too far, but you've got to feel like, you know what? I can beat this Rams team. And a lot of the stories around this first 4 weeks of football are the Ravens actually good, even though they're 1-3 because they lost to great teams. I will flip it and say, are the Rams actually good?
Yes.
Okay, let me just, can I make an argument that they might be a tad overrated?
Let me hear it.
14-9 over the Texans, which we thought, wow, well, you know, that's just a defensive battle.
Yeah.
But then we further learned that the Texans have real problems on offense. 33-19 over the Titans, who might be terrible, even though Coach tried to convince me
they're definitely
terrible. 33-27 against the Eagles. They played great for a half. Could have won it on a field goal, but they went scoreless in an entire half. And then 27-20 over the Colts, who had 2 touchdowns off the board, one ridiculous, one holding penalty for Jonathan Taylor. I know you could do that for a lot of teams. The Eagles could have lost on the goal line.
I mean, they beat the Colts, who were undefeated. They played the Eagles as close as a team can play them. They're down 1, kicking a field goal to win, and they lose the game.
Yep.
And then they blew out the one definitive bad team they played. Like, yeah, the Rams are good. The Rams are definitely good.
Did I sway you even a little bit?
A little.
Thank you. That's all I'm
I mean, I'm not as high on them as Nick. I think they're a good team. I'm not as high on them.
You think they're
I think they're the best team in that division. I had picked San Francisco.
But you think they're a contender, right?
I would be. I like Detroit, Green Bay, and Philly better.
What do you have to base liking Green Bay more than the Rams?
Oh, that defense. See, I'm not swayed by one bad game.
The statistics.
Cleveland's defense is good. I'm not swayed by that. I like what I see in Green Bay.
Okay.
I like a little adversity.
That suit, like, what's the progression? So do you go to a designer and you say, okay, I want the half red, half black suit, and then you get fitted for it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Is someone telling you, like, this is going to look good?
I think it was a full black suit with half red.
But you got mad at Shedeur yesterday for doing that interview. I mean, he's been in the league.
So there's
an argument that
that's as bad as the interview.
Listen, I'm glad.
Let me ask. How about this,
Coach? This would, because he's the starter, I'm giving him grace that he gets to have starting quarterback swag. I would not like this if he were the backup today.
I'm also going to say this.
I also don't like
just
it
because it's so bad looking. I'm not ruling out that it's some charity thing. A child designed it or something.
I think the fit is better. The actual fit of the suit is better than that red double-breasted when he wore.
Also, Justin corrected me. I said the Riddler. Obviously, I meant Two-Face.
Oh,
thank you.
Dusty
terrible job by me.
Got his finger on the pulse of the Marvel universe.
It's not Marvel, it's DC.
It's DC.
We're doing game picks, debuting a new graphic that you've seen for years. We finally got one. Wow. Coach, who you got tonight?
I am going to go with the Rams. I think the 49ers defense has been better with Salah there, but they haven't been able to produce any interceptions. And I do like the fact that Stafford's at 8 touchdowns this year. He only had 20 last year, so he's almost halfway to where his production last season.
Listen, even though the Niners are trotting out a receiving core that we know you can win Super Bowls
Thank you.
DeMarcus Robinson, Sky Moore, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, all Super Bowl heroes with the Kansas City Chiefs. Not only do I like the Rams tonight, I like them enough that I think if you're multi-screening, the baseball game will turn to the bigger screen by the second half of the football game.
Really?
Yeah, I think Yankees-Red Sox is going to be more in doubt than Rams-Niners.
Can Mac Jones' suit move the line?
The
betting line?
Oh, his outfit? Maybe. Yeah.
Coach? Sorry, Brew?
Believe it or not, I would love to see the Niners win. I mean, they were my division.
We all believe it.
We know
I would love to see
You're
them
a Niners
win,
guy.
but I think the Rams tonight.
I feel like, obviously, I believe in Mac Jones. I believe in Kendrick Bourne. I believe in the Super Bowl pedigree of all of the Chiefs. I believe in Kyle Shanahan, the genius Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. I also believe in Robert Saleh in this defense. I also believe in a short week benefits the underdogs. I also believe that the Rams have some hollow victories.
Oh.
A little bit. I'm just not. You blasted
So
the
who are you
Titans.
taking? We got to go.
Taking the San Francisco 49ers.
Wow.
And my guy, Mac Jones,
Is
half
that
a
your
suit.
upset alert?
Half a suit, full win.
No.
It's a show that's trying to figure out an emotional hedge for all the teams that I'm actually rooting for. Brew, you want to get in on it with me?
Brew doesn't gamble.
The Ravens thing?
Ravens?
Yeah.
And I can get you gambling.
It's First Things First Overtime. We have a special edition of First Things First Overtime because We're debuting Parkins Picks in the A block.
What?
Wow.
Which I've never been a part
Well,
of.
I mean, we got to do something, Danny, to see if you can retrieve last year's mojo. Because thus far this year, it's been, I don't want to be harsh, but mortifying.
It's been a pedestrian 6-6 with 2 mortifying beats.
Remember,
Should
the
be
segment
8-4.
only works if people believe that you know what you're doing. So let's just support the friendly banter, but let's support the picks.
Fade or follow.
Also, does Patrick Mahomes need a huge game? Coming up after Parkins Picks, the segment that's taking the world by storm, Frenemies.
Indeed.
That's right.
Excellently
Danny's
named-
down 3-1 in Frenemies now.
Frenemies also
He's
scored.
not scored.
He started off 1-0 and is now down after week 1. He's had 3 straight Frenemies losses.
This is arbitrary scoring.
Oh, check the archives.
Tough one. Right now, we're starting with the Eagles hosting the Broncos. Jalen Hurts locked in as usual. Here's what he said about this upcoming game.
I see it as a great opportunity, the negatives and turning them into positives and then building upon the positives. And it takes great focus. You know, nothing we can do can be casual. We just got to do it with great focus and great intensity. And that starts with our preparation.
Coach.
Danny, how scary are the undefeated Eagles?
I think they're terrifying.
Really?
Yeah, because they look like a team that should be 1-3 or 2-2, and they're undefeated. They're 31st in the NFL in passing. The only worst passing team, the Tennessee Titans. This doesn't make any sense. Like, you've been making the comp that the 25 Eagles are the 24 Chiefs. Mm-hmm. But we knew why the 2024 Chiefs struggled offensively. Xavier Worthy's a rookie. 4 different guys at left tackle. Rashee Rice is hurt. Isaiah Pacheco wasn't the same since the injury. Why are the Eagles struggling offensively? Like Kevin Patullo and vibes? Like, they'll probably figure it out. They have they have too much talent not to. So the fact that they've gone undefeated against this schedule while looking this bad means that their ceiling is terrifying.
Well, so maybe I'm looking at it differently. I agree with you that it is reason for long-term optimism that they are winning despite not playing well. But because of how they're playing right now, to me, they are not a scary team. Right now, like in this regard, I think any team that plays the Eagles right now is like, we can beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's weird
That's
because
the case
they have
every team in the NFL.
No, well, but yes, I understand you go into games thinking you can win, but the Eagles right now, to me, even though they've lost once in a calendar year at this point, don't have the same invincibility that we were talking about with the Chiefs last year. You know what I mean? Or that it even felt like they had at different points, they being the Eagles, last season themselves, because every game they've played, the other team feels like they're right there, and it feels like the Eagles aren't doing anything on either side of the ball that you're like, man, what are we going to do with that? Last year, people went into every game like, what are we going to do with Saquon? And nobody could do anything with it. Like, so I think there is great reason for optimism for the Eagles over the course of the season, but I don't think the Broncos walk into this game feeling like the Eagles are a juggernaut, even though they have the record of a juggernaut.
I'm with Danny, who clearly watched my take from yesterday on this.
I watched the show.
Yeah. No. They are playing their D game. They brought their D game to Kansas City and won. They brought their D game against the Rams and won. They brought their D game against Tampa Bay and won. You could say they spotted the Rams a huge lead and just said, okay, let's turn it up. They had a switch, and they turned on that switch. And Danny's right, like, they are not running the ball. I don't think Saquon Barkley is washed at all. There's not a fiber in my being that thinks he's washed. I expect him to, I don't expect last year, but I think he'll get it going. They obviously have 2 very good receivers. Jalen Hurts has shown he can throw the football, even if he's not doing it well in spurts here. The offensive line has not been what it typically is, so I think that'll get better. And I do think that defense is improving. Like Cooper DeJean, I think is becoming a star. So I just expect them to not get better every game of this, going on weekly, but if I'm Philadelphia, I'm like, man, we ain't even playing well. And we beating the three of the elite teams in the league.
So I agree that the Eagles have a ton of reason for optimism. But I guess the way I look at it, and I'll ask you, like last year, if you were playing the Eagles, you walked into that game feeling like, man, they might have the best defense in football that we're up against. You don't feel that way right now. And the other thing you felt like is just pencil Saquon in for if he has a $105, we did great. Yep. And why this isn't a knock on Jalen. I don't think at any point have you been terrified of the Eagles passing game. It's just not what they've leaned into. You know what I mean? He can make the throws, but it's just right now, if you are in the Broncos game planning room, what do the Eagles do right now that scares you? What is it?
Just red zone efficiency. They get in there and it's like, all right, now.
Yeah, I mean the tush push. Yeah, we can't let them. That part of it, like that. So yeah, I mean that's a good point. But I don't think Saquon's washed either. But I do think we are seeing the effects of however many touches he had last year. Like I don't think Saquon this season is all of a sudden come week 8 going to be 125 a game again. So like I just think they're fundamentally a less ominous team than they were last season.
But the fact that they've been winning against the teams they've played, what do you think about that?
I find it impressive, and I think winning is a skill, but I just don't think I think right now teams are more intimidated, so to speak, by Buffalo than by Philadelphia. I think
End of list.
I think teams are they are more intimidated right now by Detroit than Philadelphia.
Maybe. That's the only other one that I would say is a debate. Detroit's offense has been great the last 3 weeks, what they did defensively to Baltimore. I think maybe that you could debate that one. But we've seen them look scary for stretches of time. Like that second half against the Rams was like, oh, that's an explosive team that could
First half against Tampa Bay.
So while I don't know if they'll do it against Denver this week and Denver's defense is very good, I do think a breakout performance by Philly feels inevitable.
Maybe
and they'll probably be undefeated.
Put some tomato cans on the schedule. Like everything's been so tough. It's just because the Bills got to beat up on,
No, but
the Jets, the Rams got to beat up on the Titans.
Except we've said, though, that the Cowboys' defense is supposed to be a tomato can. We said, the Cowboys, Detroit put up 50.
They treated
Caleb
it
had the game of his life.
In the first half.
Right, but what did they score? 24 in that game?
Yeah, then after the delay.
Yeah, and so, that piece of it, and so I don't know. I think they're a great team. I don't think they're a scary team right now.
Fair. Commanders at Chargers. That's going to be Sunday at 4 on Fox. Jaden's going to be back. Herbert looking to bounce back. Here's Jaden Daniels. Take a listen.
They're coming off a bad taste in their mouth, too, so we know we're going to get their best game, and they're going back home. We're going on the road, so we haven't played the best on the road, so kind of just focus on ourselves and go out there having fun and, cutting it loose.
Are you expecting a bounce-back game for Justin Herbert?
So
here it comes.
Here
it starts. Earlier than I thought. Here come the hedge.
I promised Nick that this was the No Excuses Tour for Justin Herbert.
Thank you.
I promised.
Because I knew it. Because you can set your watch to it.
I promised.
The Chargers are great. They're in a great position. Things go a little awry. It's not Herbert's fault.
It's gone a lot awry on the offensive line. I mean, this is a little crazy what's happened to him. They invested in their offensive line with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, arguably the best tackle duo in the NFL. They paid Mekhi Becton in free agency, and it's week 5, and all of them are out. And if we show you Justin Herbert week 1 and 2, this was without Slater, but he had Alt and Becton. The pressure percentage was down. The pass attempts are way up. He's not taking sacks. He's not taking hits, and he looks like the MVP. The last 2 weeks, his pressure rate is higher than it was in that Texans game when he threw the 4 interceptions, and now he's got a Commanders team coming in that is harassing opposing team quarterbacks, and we don't know if Becton's going to play and Alt isn't. So I'm with you on no excuses.
But you're not expecting a bounce back.
But this is a lot for anyone to overcome. So it just objectively is.
So this is,
he just listed about 5 excuses.
This train is never late.
I knew I walked into that trap, and I walked into it anyway.
Last year.
It's just objectively true.
Last year, they got to let Justin Herbert throw the ball more. They have to take the handcuffs off him. It's unfair. Last week, Can he get some help from the running game? The guy's averaging 10 yards a carry. Can you let him hand the ball off a little bit more? Herbert is a super talented player. Nobody denies that. But he would have to be the unluckiest player in league history if his talent matches what some of the Herbert sycophants believe it is, and he just simply always is just, the situation's unsustainable. Like, the Commanders are not a great defense. They pressure the quarterback. Right. They're at home. He's coming off his first truly bad game of the year. If he is at Peyton Manning 2.0 and the MVP of the league through September, he has to bounce back, right? The Chiefs all of a sudden got their mojo back. You need to keep pace with them. Like this, if you believe in Justin Herbert, you have to believe he's going to have an excellent game this week.
And I believe in him, and I think he will. And Alt got hurt in game, and now he gets to prepare for his offensive lineman to be out, so that should help. But I'm just saying, a lot of guys out.
There is no conviction in you.
See,
I'm
scared.
Tempted. You have such you are displaying such a lack of faith.
You cannot do this. This has become a thing for you now.
What?
It's unchristian-like.
Are you going to steal
He
Herbert?
takes everybody's takes.
You're giving them away.
No, wait a minute.
No, not your takes. I'm not taking anybody's takes.
Okay.
I'm just saying you're abandoning your quarterbacks.
I'm there to welcome him in.
Yes,
you were about to say you're going to be the Herbert guy.
I'm just tossing it out there. I was going to say I'm tempted to go ahead and welcome Justin Herbert with open arms.
Available.
But I don't believe he's going to have the bounce back game this week.
It's 100% available.
How is
So why are you jumping on me?
How am I ceding any ground on that? I'm just
you have no faith in your guy.
I'm pointing out an objective fact that that's a lot for him to overcome. He won the game against Denver despite the pressure. He lost last week against the Giants. He needs to win this one, but I'm a little worried.
So this is my point.
I don't think he'll bounce back either. I think he'll play well. I don't think he'll be what he was week 1 and 2.
He doesn't think he'll play well.
I'm just I know. I've got more. That's what I'm saying.
Can I tell you something real quick?
It feels like he's there.
Because we got to get to Parkins Picks.
Yep. Okay. Take your time.
Mac Jones is my guy.
Yeah, we know.
Kittle is out. Jawan Jennings is out. Brandon Ayuk is out. Ricky Pearsall is out. Guard is out. Ben Barch. I don't care.
full steam ahead.
And Mac's not even that good.
And he's not that good.
all gas,
he's not as good as Justin Herbert. That's the way it goes. If on the show, I think it would help. If he's your guy, it doesn't matter.
Let me write this down.
If he's your guy,
he
has to bounce back.
Well,
he has to.
It also is
not
accurate. It is not accurate to present it, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but as if he has now he is in the worst position of any quarterback in the league.
No, what if
he's not
missing,
he's not. I do think they probably against Washington should run the ball a little bit more. But I also think that this is now a seminal moment for Herbert. Not this game, but this stretch where it's like, okay, we saw for the first time the production briefly match the talent.
Yes.
You do have a margin of error within the division with Kansas City trying to catch you and Kansas City having back-to-back really tough games as is. It would be a bad spot for them to lose this game at home against a Commanders team where Jaden's in his first game back from injury.
And you're favored.
That's what I'm saying. You're favored at home with a quarterback in his first game back from injury. Yep. You're not playing the Broncos pass rush this week without your tackles. You're playing the Commanders.
You would agree that you don't need him to throw 40 times or more. That's where
figure out a way to win the
35
game.
35 times.
Figure out a way to win.
I think he's going to do it because I believe in you.
Wow.
Thanks, buddy.
It's time now.
Him, but he doesn't believe in
Why not?
I believe in it.
Community
Just
property.
pointing out a fact.
It is time now because we have a short show tomorrow.
That's right.
That it's Parkins Picks times.
Wow.
I'm very excited.
As am I. I am seeing the NFL very clearly. This is the official pick segment. I plug into the matrix. I see the league clearly. I'm not going to let 3-0 change me. I'm not scared of picking big games. Taking the points with Detroit. Play in the wood with the Chicago Bears. Easy, easier, and easiest. I know that I'm right.
We were Parkins Picks last week. Picked the Packers, that was an L. Picked the Ravens, that was an L. Picked the Bears
and that
in
was
Vegas.
Skin of his teeth.
So moving up the season record to 6-6, currently in second place in a two-man race between Parkins Picks and Nick's Picks. Danny, what do you have for us today to get you back on
You're still
track?
wearing this?
I have winners.
I mean, it's about time, buddy.
Yeah. Of course I'm still wearing this. I am the Picks King of FS1, looking way down at Colin Cowherd in the standings, looking slightly up at Nick Wright, but that's okay. 6-6. We're treading water. 2 terrible beats. Let's get you right to the winners this week. We begin with the Rams tonight. 8.5-point favorites over the Niners. Mac Jones has no one to throw to. That's not good if you're trailing a game. The Rams will defend against Christian McCaffrey. The Rams will get out in front. Mac Jones will need to throw, and he won't know who any of his receivers are because this Rams defense, 2nd in sacks, 4th in pressure percentage, 4th in takeaways, top 10 in opponents' points per game. Everyone talks about Puka Nacua. He deserves it. Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, and how they are a balanced offense. It's really the Rams' defense that's been carrying them through 4 games. I think
Not everybody's All-American?
I think Mac Jones struggles to score 17 points tonight. Rams in a blowout. A team that could have beaten the Rams last week, the Indianapolis Colts. I'll lay the 7 against Knicks Raiders.
Wow.
The game is back in Indianapolis. Yeah, I have no problem laying big numbers. Or you could say that I'm a public guy who's a little square going with big favorites. I know that Nick will say that in a second. But Indianapolis at home so far this year has been incredible on the offensive side of the ball. 31 points per game. Mac Jones basically perfect. At home, no punts, putting up points on 14 of their 17 drives in the Dome. But the thing, too, we all agreed that the Rams were good. I know Wilds was questioning it a little bit. The Colts easily could have beaten the Rams last week. A.D. Mitchell doesn't drop that ball. Holding penalty took a Jonathan Taylor. Touchdown off the board. I don't think that means the Rams are bad. I think it means that the Colts are on the Rams level, which means they're way ahead of the Raiders. Geno Smith leads the league in interceptions.
Yeah, it was gratuitous.
Last but not least, we'll take an underdog. Tampa plus 3.5 at Seattle. The Bucs are injured and Seattle's defense is good. But the Bake Show is just a criminally underrated and underappreciated player. If you look to where he's been as a road underdog in his career since he's been in Tampa, a whopping 12-2 against the spread, 2-0 outright this year as a road dog. They play close games, but if you get 3 and the hook, 3.5. I think it's a good number in this spot against 2 very evenly matched teams. I'll take Baker on the road plus the points, the Colts to blow out the Raiders, and the Rams get me to 7-6 on the season with a blowout win tonight over the Niners. Brew, must have been nice for you to be around some perfect picks. For a change.
Look, I think you're wrong about Seattle and Tampa Bay. Tampa, I don't think they've played that well this year. They're beating teams with a 3-9 record combined. They meet an elite team last week and get shellacked in the first half. They try to make a comeback. Seattle's playing well. They're at home in this one. Seattle stabilized themselves, so I think the Seahawks will take out Baker and the Buccaneers.
Laying the points.
I worry about, as much as I like Tampa, I worry about the injuries and it's the furthest flight of the year for them going from Tampa all the way to Seattle. But that's not the one I have issue with. I kind of like your side more. The Colts laying 7 is just too many points. It's just too many points, and it is a massive overreaction to what was a nice September by the Indianapolis Colts. The one thing they have not done well this year, Parco, is defend the run. I think they're 22nd in yards per carry. We just saw Ashton Genty, now that he's back in his upright Michael Myers stance, run all over your Chicago Bears last week.
The worst run defense in the NFL.
Well, all they need is for Geno not to turn the ball over, and they can win outright, much less cover a number of 7. I understand the Colts have been a nice surprise story, and the Raiders have been, at least for me, a bit of a disappointment. But this, in the summer, we would have thought this line was going to be 2.5. It's now 7. That's way too many points. The Raiders, if you got to pick a side in this game, and that might be a side we have tomorrow in Nick's picks, the Raiders getting the points is the better side.
Oh, little tease.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to take for you to believe in the Colts. They're good. They're a good team.
They might be good. They might be good. I'm open to the possibility that they're good, but even if they're good, I don't know that they're going to blow out the Raiders. The Raiders Geno's playing the worst ball of his of the last 5 years for him. If he doesn't turn the ball over, they're fine. Their defense has been better than we thought it was going to be this year. Ashton Genty got his, mojo going. The Raiders are not a bad team.
Excellent episode of Parkins Picks.
Thank you. If you go 0-3, are we still wearing this?
I don't know. I was just have to buy a new outfit.
Yeah,
with my winnings from last year.
Coming up, Frenemies.
Jealous of my crown.
Patrick Mahomes versus the Prince. That's next on First Things First, Overtime.
Time for Frenemies, but it's a segment that demands a correction at the top of the show. I am a man of integrity. Won 65% last year against the spread in the NFL. Was very proud of it. And this year I'm off to a rough start. I'm a mere 6-6.
Yeah.
And Nick's like, that's embarrassing. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh yeah, because you're 7-5.
No, you didn't say that. You just said you were looking up at me in the standings. And I didn't correct you because I just figured you meant metaphorically you were looking up at me in the standings. I'm also 6-6. I never said otherwise.
Also 6-6.
I'm also 6-6.
Also
I'm not
6-6.
making excuses. I'm not saying 2 horrific beats me at 8-4. I'm 6-6. I had the Bengals plus 7.5. They got dog walked Monday night. It happens. Don't worry about it.
It's a bad pick.
Is your correction of your own misinformation? Because I said nothing. Correct. I just let it sit there.
There was a lot of bad info percolating out there.
This guy, point thumbs, not fingers, Parco. My picks are public. You could have fact-checked it. Instead, you're putting so much on poor Troy's plate.
Troy, we got to do better.
Yeah, you got to do better. Let's go. You're also 1-3 in Frenemies.
I think we're tied.
Okay.
Let's talk Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, this is a tough game for you. He's facing off against the Prince, the battle of Nick Wright. Last week, Chiefs offense looked like the old Chiefs. They got Xavier Worthy back and everything was fixed. Also was a little bit to do with the Ravens defense. Patrick Mahomes, though, weighed in on what they need to do to keep the edge going offensively.
Trying to find ways to execute, especially earlier in football games, to build leads. I mean, like I've always said, when you build a lead with Spags calling the defense, it really unleashes him to really go out there. And so we'll continue to work at the little things fundamentally and try to all be on the same page so that we can execute it at a higher level early and then keep that momentum through the rest of the game.
All right, Nick, do you need to see another monster game from your guy Mahomes?
No, I don't need it, and I don't actually anticipate that we're going to get it at least early. I think the Chiefs are going to have one early goal in this game, which is not let the Jags defense turn them over, because that's what the Jags have feasted on this year. We've talked about
13 takeaways, right?
13 takeaways through 4 games after 9 last season. I mean, both of those stats are bananas. The fact that this year they're averaging more than 3 a game, and last year they averaged a half a turnover forced a game.
That's an improvement.
And so I think the Chiefs will have likely a conservative-ish game plan early. Now, what I do think is if they have a lead in the second half, that's when I could see them saying, you know what, let's work even more on spreading them out and the downfield passing attack, because I do think they're going to need that the following week against Detroit. But this game, listen, everybody knows I like Trevor. I believe in Trevor theoretically. But this year, he has not been good. And unless Trevor comes out and is dealing, and it's like, oh, we're going to need to score 30 to win, I think the Chiefs will probably have let's see if we can just make sure the Jags have to consistently drive the length of the field. Can they do that? And so I would imagine, I don't think it's going to be a running game focused game plan, but short, quick passes, a lot like what we saw from the Chiefs offense last year. That's what I think is more likely in this game.
I don't know that you need to have a shootout and score 35 points or anything like that. But since the Chiefs have become really good defensively with Spagnuolo, when Patrick Mahomes plays well, they're basically undefeated. And I know I can parse like basically any Chief stat and make their record look really good. But if you just go like, hey, Pat, don't throw an interception going back to 2023. They are 20-1 in games where Mahomes throws 0 interceptions.
And the one loss was week 1 this year against the Chargers in Brazil.
When Worthy goes out on the 3rd play of the game.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, can you have a league average passer rating, like 95 or above? 18-1 in that span, 15-9 when he's below it. Can you get league average offensive production, 23 points? If they score 23 points, they're literally undefeated. So I don't know that it's monster game, but from here on out, because I have no faith in the Chiefs' running game, it's whether it's short passes or deep passes, it's all going to be predicated on Mahomes producing.
Oh, that part's definitively true. That this offense is going to have to run, through him almost exclusively.
Yeah.
And you had yesterday a stat that I was unaware of in suitcase stats. Pack stats. I forget. My bad.
Never leave home without your stats.
And it was that the Chiefs are averaging 28 a game in
27.6 in the last 5 that Worthy played. The Steelers game last year, the 3 playoff games last year, and then
Baltimore. So what I do think, and this is, I think people underrated how ravaged by injury the Chiefs' skill positions were last season. And then because this year, we knew going into the year Rice was suspended, that was kind of baked in. And then when Xavier goes out instantly, it almost felt like, we're going to run the same excuses script of he doesn't have the weapons. When, to your point, the reason I think the Worthy numbers are noteworthy is for a rookie receiver, I don't think you really are a number 1 receiver until the tail end of the year.
Right.
And so another way to look at it is Mahomes, as long as he has a number 1 receiver, they're scoring nearly 30 a game. It's also why I think that in a few weeks, when Rashee Rice takes the Juju role, and Juju's been really reliable, but he runs at this point, I think, a 5.040. I think the offense will be even better. But to me, the underlying, tell me if I'm right before we move on, sentiment of the question is, if they have a low scoring performance, are we going to say, that Ravens game was just about how bad the Ravens are, not so much about the Chiefs being back offensively? Because I won't think that, because I think all they needed was competent offensive line play, which they've gotten, and wide receivers, at least one who can just get open on his own.
No, I agree with you, and you brought it up, but just to put a point on it, we should be open to the possibility that Xavier Worthy's awesome.
Yeah.
And what that would mean for the league, because we know that Rashee Rice is awesome, right? He had, 23 catches in the 2.5 games before he was out last year. If all of a sudden we're 2 weeks away from the Chiefs having 2 legit number 1 wide receivers, then the light show actually might be back.
Real quick, if Xavier's got to stay healthy, and we got to see what Rice looks like post-catastrophic knee injury.
Sure.
But if Xavier stays on the trajectory he's on, and Rice is, in short order, the player we saw him be for the final 8 games of his rookie year in the beginning of last year, and then all of a sudden, your number 3 is Thornton, and Kelsey is work in the middle, you have a real dynamic core of pass catchers, which they have not had since 2021 was the last year they had dynamic pass catchers.
All right, let's talk Ravens and go to Baltimore here, where with Lamar Jackson out, we believe, although there's still a little bit of discussion that he could try to play. They're a 2.5-point underdog against the Texans. Ian Rappaport reporting, like I said, that he's trying to play despite not practicing with the hamstring injury. This is Mark Andrews on the possibility of going forward without Lamar Jackson. Take a listen.
That's a challenge. It's obviously, the type of player and leader that Lamar is and how much he means to us. The beautiful thing is that we got a lot of fighters in this group and, a deep organization with a ton of players that are going to step up and make plays. And I just got a lot of faith and trust in the guys.
How would you look at this in terms of the Ravens season being over with a loss to the Texans?
So I will not think their season is over because, and I don't know if we can throw up their schedule or not, I think that even if they lose, I'm just being honest, even if they lose their next 2, if Lamar, assuming they lose their next 2 because Lamar is out, you know what I mean?
Yep.
If Lamar plays and they lose to the Texans, then it's like, okay, they're just bad for some reason all of a sudden. If Lamar is back after the bye, I will pick them to win 6 consecutive football games going into that Steeler game. The Bears would be their toughest opponent. The Dolphins are a mess. I don't trust the Vikings. The Browns are the Browns, the Jets, and then the Bengals with whatever it is. So I wouldn't say their season's over. What I will say is, for the Ravens to, steal a line from Brew, because they're so S-Bob, it's less about, are you going to stay afloat for the postseason? And are you finally going to live up to your preseason expectations, which right now, Danny, feel incredibly unlikely? They were the Vegas favorite by a little bit to win the Super Bowl, and the media favorite by a lot to win the Super Bowl. And right now, they just don't look like a good team.
They don't, and I still think the offense will be fine. I still think that they will make the playoffs. But if I'm wrong about those things, which clearly now they've eliminated their margin for error and it's possible, it might present just an opportunity to say, all right, 18 years with John Harbaugh was a great run, but it's enough. And firing a guy because of a bunch of injuries will obviously feel unfair. But you know I covered the Cubs for a long time. Theo Epstein, the great baseball executive, would quote the great Bill Walsh, the great football coach, who would say, 10 years. That's the expiration date on leadership for both the leader and the organization, because you just need to have some change. And for Baltimore, it feels like the issues have been festering for longer than this. Like, since 2020, the Ravens lead the NFL in 10-point leads blown, 14 losses when they've been leading entering the fourth quarter, most in the NFL, 9 losses when they've had a 7-point lead entering the fourth quarter, most in the NFL. Like, they get out in front, and then they find a way to lose. And now with the injuries, at some point they're going to look around and say, maybe we should make a change. So they're not going to root for it in Baltimore. I understand that. But sometimes a lost season isn't the worst thing in the world for an organization to take a step back, to take 3 steps forward.
Well, listen, I believe that if they were to move on from the coach, it would be one of the most sought-after jobs in recent NFL history. Because
I agree. Lamar in his prime.
Right. And we were talking about, no, not taking a shot here, how sought-after the Charger job was going to be because of Herbert, and it was. And Herbert is not Lamar. You know what I mean? And
sure.
so it doesn't have the accomplishments of Lamar. I also think that it's not – I don't really blame Harbaugh for – the last couple years, them not living up to expectations. We don't have to rehash it. I think that he has the expectations that a coach gets when you have an MVP at quarterback. And what sucks for him is, come the playoffs, he doesn't have an MVP at quarterback. But the reality is, Lamar's going to be the quarterback for the Ravens for the next decade, one would hope.
Yep.
So I am a believer in this. This is not a believer thing. It's a stat. Every coach-quarterback combo ever that has won a Super Bowl together won their first one within the first 5 years. This is year 8 for those guys together. And so...
feels like if it was going to happen, it would have.
Yeah, and that's also kind of a Sean McDermott, Josh Allen stat as well. That's a separate issue. But yeah, I feel like those guys every year start the year on the hot seat. If you have a Mount Rushmore quarterback... every year, you start the year on the hot seat because every year the expectation is deep playoff run.
Price of being S-Bob and going bust.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, wow. That was good. I like that. S-Bob.
Little turn of phrase?
There is. That was good. Tell bro.
Don't sound so surprised. Does that mean I won Frenemies?
We were in agreement, so it's a tie this week.
Oh, okay.
It's 3-1-1.
3-1-1.
Similar to the Packers record.
It's tough to keep track, this official scoring. Welcome back to First Things First. We got Coach Mangini and Willie Colon out here. We begin in Philadelphia, where A.J. Brown addressed the tweet heard around the world and his frustrations and his cryptic posts. But, hey, by the way, the Eagles are 4-0. Here is A.J. Brown.
I let my frustrations boil over. I didn't speak to the media. I had a chance to correct my frustrations, and I continue to let it boil over. That's on me. I take full accountability on that, posting that. My message on Twitter wasn't directed at anyone in the building.
I don't think it's a bad thing for wanting the ball. It's not just for targets or anything to put numbers up. But no, I see that that we're struggling, and I'm a guy that wants the ball in those times when we can't find a way. Give it to me. Like when the game's on the line, give the ball to me. I want that. I want that pressure. I put it on myself, and I work hard for it.
All right, Willie, that tweet fired you up yesterday. Now you've seen him address it. Do you think the Eagles should be forcing the ball to A.J. Brown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because the Eagles can't afford for A.J. Brown to check out because he's all dog. And when you're all dog and you need to eat and you don't eat, you become destructive. If I'm Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, my first 15, I have to feature A.J. Brown. And on top of that, I do have to take a step back. I did call him selfish. I did call him a big me guy. But then I had to think, man, I would want to play with a guy like that. I did play with guys like that. You know, when I was in the locker room, I was fortunate enough to play with Antonio Brown. And as an elder statesman, man, I did have an opportunity to talk to him about him. But one thing I had to realize is it's about grace and patience. When you brought A.J. Brown in, you hired him to be a killer. You hired him to be that guy, to be him. But on top of that, A.J. Brown has to understand you have an offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, who's growing into the position. You have Jalen Hurts, who you have to trust his preparation and what he sees on the field. And you have to understand that the end goal is to win another Super Bowl. So all parties have to come together and understand, like, man, we only have one shot at this year after year. And teams break up. So while we're special now, we have to maximize it. And hopefully he understands that. But if I'm the OC right now, man, it's get A.J. Brown the ball.
Yeah, I don't think you want to force it to him, but you do, to Willie's point, want to get him involved early in the script. So, and I think there is a distinction there. If you start forcing it to the guy, then you could be throwing in double coverage, you could be making poor decisions, you could be doing things that really don't make sense from what Jalen's reads are. But there are ways that you can work the ball to make sure he's the primary read on the play, things like that to try to get involved early. And to his point, things aren't working very well overall. It's not like Saquon's having a killer year and they're lighting up running the ball, and it's been very inconsistent throwing the ball. And I appreciate his competitiveness. And the words I liked is, I work hard for this. And I do believe that he does work hard for that. And I respect that. I just think you also have to keep in mind there's a bigger picture, and this can be very disruptive.
Because I feel like you can argue with the way that he has delivered the message, right? It was selfish. It was look at me. No coach or teammate would like it. Like, Jalen Hurts doesn't want to be answering those questions, but I don't feel like I can argue with the message. Like, the passing offense has been bad. His production has been low. He is excellent. Give him the damn ball. So, like, the method of the message, not good. But I think the substance is good.
Yeah, but Coach hit it right on the head. When you force the ball, you invite turnovers. And we know that was a bugaboo for Jalen Hurts in 2023.
Sure.
And when he came out of 2023, they took it out of his hand and they went more run dominant. And what happened? Super Bowl. So you can't fault Jalen Hurts and say, hey, I tried that. I know how that ended. We got blown out by the Bucs first round of the playoffs. When we kind of cleaned things up, Super Bowl. And they want to go back to the Super Bowl. But I think right now for A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, they got to get on the same page.
But how does it play with, like, it's not like Devontae Smith is crushing. It's not like Goddard's crushing. It's not like Saquon's crushing. Like, no one is producing here. A.J. Brown just seems the most outwardly unhappy.
Yeah, well, that's the strangest part of this whole equation is if Saquon was having a season like last year, then it's so much easier to sit back and say, okay, well, this makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
This is working so well, but that's not working well. The passing game isn't working well. The level of inconsistency is a problem. And it is a new offensive coordinator. There's probably some growing pains there.
They lost Mekhi Becton, was huge for the run game.
And once they lose a game, this temperature is going to get turned up dramatically. So hopefully they can get some of these fixes before that first loss.
Well, and not an easy test with the Broncos defense coming to Philadelphia. Let's go to the game tonight, though. The Niners do not have Brock Purdy. They are 8.5-point underdogs against the Rams. Other injuries for the Niners in addition to Purdy. Pearsall has his knee injury. Juwan Jennings. I have no idea who Mac Jones will be throwing the ball to. But he is 2-0 in games where Mac Jones has played this year. So, guys, we will discuss here the Niners. Are they playing for their season despite being 3-1 given all the injuries?
I don't think they're playing for the season. The fact that they are 3-1 gives them some cushion as they get these guys back from injuries. And this is a very different situation than Cincinnati and even to some degree Baltimore. Baltimore's had that rash injuries. San Francisco's approaching that, but they should get all of those guys back. They haven't had a lot of season-ending injuries, which has been fortunate. So I don't think they're at the point of no return with a loss or even a couple losses, especially because these injuries aren't necessarily
season enders.
Well, yeah, I do think it's a pivotal game just solely because of the way the division shaped up. I mean, the Cardinals are last in division, but they're 2-2, right? So if they win this game, that puts them in the lead. However, what scares me about Brock Purdy, toes and shoulders linger during the season, right? And the schedule is only going to get harder, especially when you talk about spotty guys as far as Kittle coming back, Who knows with Juan Jennings? Like, there's certain guys that impacts this offense for them to be that, like, oh, that's them. That's the Niners we know them to be. But if you're moving forward right now, you have to trust that, one, Mac Jones is 2-0. He's done a hell of a job holding the ship up. And on top of that, you got to trust that Kyle Shanahan is going to make do with what he has. But all that said, they need to win this game.
Oh, I'd be shocked if they won tonight.
It's going well because it's about the pass rush. They got to be able to get to Stafford. They don't get to Stafford, it's over.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, in terms of total yardage, has been very good, but in terms of explosiveness, hasn't. I don't think he has an explosive run.
And the yardage has been in the passing game. It hasn't been as a runner.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I would imagine this Rams defense, which is top 5, you key in on Christian McCaffrey, and then what? What else can San Francisco do realistically tonight offensively? I'm with you. Non-season enders, weak schedule, maybe they can fall to 3-3, 3-4, get healthy, and make a run. But I don't see much of a path for them tonight, personally.
No, but I also, like I said, I trust Mac Jones because he's shown that he's competent at the position, and I like Shanahan. Like he's been in. We understand. He's been in this position before. Now, the back end of San Francisco season, they went 1-7, so that wasn't a good sign. Overall, the injuries are happening now. Hopefully, as these guys get healthy, they can make a run. But it'll be good to see the Niners pull this one out.
And the benefit of a Thursday night game is you don't get to do the same extensive game planning as you normally would. So maybe some of the things that they would have normally done with Christian McCaffrey, they can't quite get to with a short week.
Not as much depth all of a sudden. You pay your quarterback a bunch of money, not as much depth. You keep having all of these injuries, and the season can get away from you very, very quickly. Coming up on First Things Last, Shedeur Sanders talking his way out of ever seeing the field. I'll make the case. Time now for First Things Last. We go to Cleveland, where Shedeur Sanders is headed in the direction of never taking a single snap in the NFL. And I say that with no malice or joy. Just if you look to NFL history, if we remove the ultimate outlier of Tom Brady, there have been 85 quarterbacks drafted in the 5th round or later since the year 2000, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is the only one to start more than 100 games. More than 25% of those players started 0. Then we can judge the actions of the Browns. They benched Joe Flacco this week and named Dillon Gabriel their starter. The same Dillon Gabriel they drafted 2 rounds before Shedeur. Then, after making the switch, they kept Shedeur 3rd on their depth chart, meaning, in the case of an injury to Gabriel, they'd rather see more Joe Flacco than any Shedeur Sanders. And don't forget Deshaun Watson. He's their $230 million guaranteed man who's reportedly doing a great job with his rehab. He can enter this conversation sooner than later. Now for Shedeur. In the last week, he has twice entered the national news cycle. Once for saying if you look at the level of quarterback play, he knows he's capable of doing better. And then again in this bizarre video where he silently answered questions reportedly because of criticism from TV talking head Rex Ryan. Is either news item a huge deal? No. But if you were one of the 31 teams that passed on Shedeur at least 4 times in the draft and you saw that video, would you be thinking that you made a mistake? Also no. So given that the Browns don't seem close to playing Shedeur and he isn't making a great impression for the rest of the NFL, it's probably time the media at large drops its pre-draft groupthink and fascination with Shedeur's last name and treats him like what he is until further notice, a 3rd-string quarterback on a bad team. That's all I've got. We've got the Rams and Niners tonight. We'll be all over it tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with us on First Things First.